religiously, understand the 7 principles of hell, you'll understand the 7 demons within you. You'll understand that whole concept. It's a whole metaphysical concept. We ain't go over that, but anyway, so.
Blessings to everybody. Just give me a few more minutes while I deal with something over here, and I'll be right back. I do apologize. All right, give me a few more minutes because I really want to talk and not be interrupted. So give me a few more minutes. I hope y'all enjoy the lyrical poems. All right, there are poems behind the beat. So listen, I appreciate the support. We got Thriving Glow with Joe up in the building, yo. Shout out to Thriving Glow Joe with the building, man. Give me 1 minute. All right, give me like 5 more minutes.
In this world of blame and shame, we point fingers, we play the game. But as our children cry in fear, we turn a blind eye, we shed no tears. Believe our women, they say, while our kids are led astray. Lost in darkness, lost in pain, yet their cries fall silent like the rain. It's a shame how far we've come, blaming all the men playing dumb. But our children need us near to wipe their tears and calm their fears. In this land of the free, water's a commodity for you and me. Can't you see? It's not fair, it's plain to see. People struggling to pay for something they need every day. In America where we say we're free, but water shouldn't come at a fee. A shorty just speaking in general about the things that seem so small. This ain't meant towards everyone, just a cry in the dark. In America where water is marked. Brothers and sisters, hear my plea. This is not about you or me. Our kids are the future, they hold the key. Wake up before we're met with defeat. In this world of chaos and strife, we must guide them to a better life. Teach them love, compassion, and light, so they can lead us out of this endless night. Let's unite as one strong force. For our children, let's stay on course. Together we can make a change and secure a better future in exchange. Y'all should have listened the first time they let the cat out the hat. Now it's a crime. Many are falling into a trap, thinking it's a game, but they full of cap. Some are ready and fully strapped, while others keep falling into the gap. The warning signs were clear as day, but some chose not to heed what they say. Now the consequences come to light. Those who ignored are in for a fight. Listen close and learn from this mishap. Don't be caught unaware, don't fall into the trap. From the wisdom of my elders I learned women are strong, independent and firm. But sometimes we need a helping hand to conquer challenges and make a stand. Independence is crucial, that's true. Yet together with a man we can pursue. Respect yourself first and foremost, so others will treat you like the most. Ladies growing up, remember this advice. You're capable of anything you devise, but partnership and respect go hand in hand. Embrace your strength and make a stand. Memories of the past I couldn't see, now I understand. The wisdom they gave me, respect yourself first, that's the key. To earn respect from others is how it should be. A man's worth measured by how he treats his queen. Love and romance in the air, a beautiful scene. A woman's power to uplift or demean. In her hands lies a man's dream. Lessons learned from an OG so true. In matters of the heart they know what to do. Love and respect intertwined like glue. In a world where old-fashioned values still ring through. Peter Pan, Peter Pan, Peter Pan was a fairy tale. Now males want to be females without fail. Women want to be a man, it's a twisted tale. Flipping scripts and roles, they set sail. Fighting for roles, turning to moles. Making hits with their agenda goals. Targeting our kids, it takes a toll. To them it's a bliss, to us it's a black hole. They ain't trying to miss. Their agenda is the ultimate twist. Infiltrating young minds with their list, but we won't let them persist. I'm with women's rights, but what about men's too? Equality for all, it's long overdue. We want progress, we need to see both sides. Blame and shame won't help us unite. Don't label him a deadbeat without looking in the mirror. Sometimes it takes two to create rupture. Let's have conversations that include everyone. Empathy and understanding, the battles can be won. Men face struggles too, let's not forget. Their mental health matters, let's not neglect. It's time to break down walls and build bridges instead. Together we can strive for equality ahead. You scream for the police every time he come around, then scream child support abuse, playing victim in this town. Enjoy that check, boo, but remember what goes up must come down. The only time he's worthy is when he bails you out the mess you found. You play the game, manipulating hearts without a doubt, but karma's knocking at your door, there's no way out. You point fingers and shift the blame around, but in the end, it's your own chaos that you found. You dance with danger, living on the edge of lies, but the truth will catch up to you, no more disguise. The man you rely on to clean up your mess is so profound, will soon see through your facade and leave you astounded. Using a child as a weapon, it's a shame. A woman who lacks self-respect, I can't acclaim. Real men fighting for what they believe in, never in vain. Standing 10 toes down, bringing awareness to the pain. Respect is earned by how you carry yourself, not by tearing others down for personal wealth. Real men don't back down, they fight with honor and stealth against injustice and falsehoods that threaten our health. Let's uplift each other instead of tearing apart, supporting one another from the start. Real men stand tall with courage in their heart, fighting for justice and truth, playing their part. Here's for the men who share their truth, never afraid to stand tall in their boots, respecting our women, fighting for what's right, supporting our kids day and night. Real women out there blazing trails, men by their side never looking pale. Rights for all, let's keep the balance true. Men have a voice, let's listen to. In this crazy world where battles are fought, let's remember the men who give it all they've got. Respect to those who speak their stories loud. Together we stand strong and proud. Together we stand, united we'll rise, setting an example for young eyes. In every step we take, in every plan, guiding the next generation's hand. Leading by actions, not just by words, teaching them to fly like birds. Showing love and respect in all we do, for they're always watching, taking cues. Hand in hand, let's pave the way for a better tomorrow, starting today. Our children learn from what they see. Let's show them how great they can be. Let's be what our children need.
All right, hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. Continue to have a blessed and humble evening. This y'all shorty Racheal. Let me welcome y'all to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast, yo. And today we're gonna be talking about some current news. All right, we're gonna be reviewing and reacting to the Senate, the Philadelphia Senate meeting, and what's going on in Philly. All right, there's a lot going on. It's Black History Month. I know me personally, man, I'm dealing with a lot, trying to get a lot done, a lot situated. Those that have been following me know what my goal and my mission is, right? I've been working really hard on these 3 books. I got 2 more poetry poems to publish, all right? And I got my book that I'm working on how I overcame, my past and much more. Shout out to those that have been rocking out with a shorty, all right, that have been sharing the videos, have been having conversations with me, throughout my lives. I really appreciate y'all, whether it's 5 people, whether it's 3 people, all right, I appreciate y'all. These conversations are needed. And, we talk about everything when it comes to this podcast, all right? So let's get into it, all right? Let's get into it. Today, did I leave it? Yeah, okay. If y'all listen, if you're watching, right, if you hit exclamation right in the chat down below, I have a few content creators that I watch. I gotta update my little stream elements and put some more in that, John. But we got a few content creators that are shorty watches. If y'all want to click on their links and go check them out, y'all can. I also have the petition to get more cameras within our schools, deeper backgrounds for the teacher, and more more security guards in our schools. We trying to help our kids that are getting bullied. This petition, having these cameras in these schools, won't just benefit the kids, but it'll also benefit the teachers, right? And it'll help us figure out what's going on within our schools, within our classrooms. All right, so if y'all hit exclamation, school petitions, y'all should get the link to the petition that I have down below, so that if you have a zip code, you're able to sign it. And I suggest that you start one if you can within your own city and state. Today, listen, we gonna be talking about what's going on in Philly within the schools. I'm not sure if it's happening. What's happening in Philly is happening in any other city. All right, but let's get into it, because listen, Philly done has lost. How can I say, its damn mind again? All right, because listen, 20 schools, 20 on the chopping block under this new updated facility plan, baby. The one thing updated is the level of disrespect they've been telling us for years, all right? That beverage taxes was supposed to save our schools, fix the buildings, stop the how can I say, the pestos, stop the mold, stop the ceilings from falling. Like, we've been living in a Jenga tower. And now suddenly, we broke again. Suddenly we got to close schools like, they're clearances items. Philly's always got money for the wrong things, but never for the kids. So let me ask y'all this. How many times they got to play in our faces before we stop acting surprised? Because what's going on right now, I'm not shocked. I've been talking about it for years. And let me talk about this, let me talk about this damn soda tax, all right? Because I'm tired, all right? I'm tired of paying $10 to $15 for a 12 pack like I'm buying concert tickets. I walk into the store and I feel like I need a cosigner just to get a Sprite, right? And the crazy part is they told us it was for the children, for the schools, right? It's for education. Baby, where? Show me the receipts. Show me the classrooms that got fixed. Show me the teachers that got raises, because not one teacher has gotten a raise since Lord knows when. I think since the Ice Age, if I'm not mistaken. Tell me what teacher has gotten a raise, because none of these teachers have. They wanted to get, what was it? The sanitation workers to get a raise, right? And for the sanitation workers to get a raise in here in Philadelphia, they decided to get together with people within communities and destroy its own city by littering, by throwing trash everywhere, even in the mayor's house, because they like, oh, fuck it, man. We chose you as the first Black mayor of Philadelphia and you ain't doing shit, but she has. But nobody want to talk about the goddamn governor. That's the crazy part about it. That's the crazy part about it. All right. Show me the kids that, how can I say, ain't learning in buildings older than, how can I say, the Declaration of Independence? Because all I see is us paying more and getting less. So tell me this. Why are we paying luxury prices for soda but still getting dollar store results from the city? But I could be tripping. Right? And don't get me started on the fruits and veggies. All right. They said drink water, eat healthy. All right, cool. But why the hell is a bag of grapes $17? Why is lettuce acting like it's designer brand? I'm in the produce aisle, right? Like I'm feeling like I'm shopping at, how can I say, at a Louis Vuitton. And the wild part is they tax the unhealthy stuff and the healthy stuff. So what exactly are we supposed to do? Starve? Photosynthesize? All right. And then they got the nerve to say it's about public health. The one thing unhealthy is the way, all right, the city calls, how can I say, the city budgets its money. So let me ask you, how are we supposed to make healthy choices when the system keeps making poverty the default, right? And the system ain't even broken. Hey, but according to people, the system is broken. That's the plea, right? And let's talk about these taxes, all right? We pay, how can I say, we're paying these taxes, right, as working citizens. We pay city tax, state tax, federal tax, soda tax, bag tax, breathing tax. I'm convinced they're going to start charging us for blinking next. And yet, every time we ask where is the money going, they hit us with the same tired answer, the same bullshit. We're working on it. Working on what? Because the schools are still falling apart. The neighborhoods are still under, how can I say, funded. And the kids are still, how can I say, getting, how can I say, the short end of the stick. But what does get funded? Everything except what we actually need. So here's my question. Why do we keep letting them treat our tax dollars like it's monopoly? And I know a lot of people is going to be like, fuck this conversation. I don't care. But this conversation isn't meant for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. This conversation is for those that are, really taking serious about what's going on within their communities. All right. Those that, how can I say, look at, how can I say, our voice is local. That's where it matters. We know where the money goes. We ain't stupid. All right. It goes to prisons. It goes to war. It goes to everything that keeps people controlled instead of, how can I say, empowered. They invest in punishment, not prevention. They invest in violence, not education. They invest in, how can I say, locking people up instead of lifting people up. And they turn around and act shocked when communities struggle. Babe, you built the struggle. You funded the struggle. You maintained the struggle. So let me ask y'all, how long we going to let them pour billions into cages while our kids learn in buildings that look like crime scenes? All right, and the wildest part, they always got a speech ready. All right, we evaluating the facilities, we relocating resources, we reconstruction. All right, how can I say, we're reconstructing the district. Shut the fuck up. You know what? Whoops. No, Ray. Y'all been reconstructing since the 90s. All right. I was a little kid. All right. And these buildings ain't still fixed. And the only thing that changed is, the excuses. Meanwhile, parents got to fight for basic things like heat, all right, in the winter and AC in the summer. Kids got to dodge buckets catching leaks. Like, how can I say, they in the water park. Teachers got to buy their own supplies, like running, how can I say, like they running a side hustle in their classrooms. And the city wants applause. So let me tell this. Or let me ask you this. Why do we accept bare minimum leadership when our kids deserve maximum effort? And I know I ask provocative questions, but that's because I am one of those that go, head to head with these politicians. I am one of those, right, that team up with a lot of parents and organizations. Let's change these policies. And let me be real, all right? Philly is tired. We're tired of the lies, tired of the taxes, tired of the excuses. And I know the taxes ain't going nowhere, all right? We're tired of the plans that never, how can I say, that never plan anything. We're tired of being told to wait for funding, wait for repairs, wait for justice, wait for change. Meanwhile, the people in, how can I say, charge ain't waiting for their checks. They ain't waiting for their raises. They ain't waiting for their bonuses. They ain't waiting for their, how can I say, comfortable office. So let me ask y'all, when do we stop waiting and start demanding? It's kind of like, a few years back, I had this lady talk about, in the nice communities, right? In the richer communities, and people think that there's rich communities in, right where the hoods are at and stuff like that. Maybe you go a little further out of the hood, right? And like I tell people, I don't see the suburbs in the nice areas of Philadelphia. They're even dirty. Right? I used to walk on work in what they consider certain parts of the suburbs, and I'm like, Now, when you go further out and you're almost leaving like Philly to, other districts and stuff like that, but it's still a part of Philadelphia. It's confusing to break it down or even talk. I'm not going to sit here confuse y'all and then confuse myself again. All right. There's cities that are, they're, I don't know if they're like attached or what, but it's like little borders and stuff like that. And those places are nicer, and they got, lanes. There's even quiet little areas, little towns that look like, places in the movies and stuff like that. I was shocked to learn about stuff like this. All right. But here in the middle of Philadelphia, the heart of Philadelphia, all this that we talk about, North Philadelphia, East Philadelphia, South Philadelphia, all this, I don't really consider it rich neighborhoods or suburb area type joint. For real. But hey, to each his own. All right, to each his own. And all other people going to be like, well, it is. Just go digging a little deeper. You see why I'm thinking like this. I'm tired of, going by what they're telling us. I'm doing my own research. But anyways, like I said, when do we stop waiting and start demanding? We got Flying Galino in the building. Blessings to my OG. All right. Running 22 is in the building. Shout out to Young Riaz. Make sure y'all go check out my young boy, all right, and his YouTube. He got the shorts popping over there with the UK music. But listen, the reason I'm saying all of this is because at the end of the day, the real question ain't why is this happening? We know why. The real question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to keep letting them, drain our pockets while starving our communities? Are we going to keep letting them close schools like they're closing apps on a phone? Are we going to keep letting them treat our kids like, how can I say, afterthoughts? Or are we going to finally stand up, link up, and say, nah, Not this time. Philly got the power, all right? And when Philly moves together, we can get shit done. So let me ask y'all one last thing. Are we ready to fight for the future of our kids? All right? Our kids deserve that bright future. Or are we going to let them write the ending for us? Man, I want y'all to check this out. My OG up in this John. Shout out to my OG playing Galanino. Man, I love my OG. I love my OG. You can't help but, you can't help but love 22 Ronin. All right. I know he got one shout out mouth. All right. I know his mouth could be vicious at times. But Lord have mercy. I love my OG. All right. Listen, I love him. He shout out it. Listen, he is shout out, but I love him. I know I'm repeating myself. But I love my OG. All right, here we go. Where's the 3-minute video? All right, so I'm gonna have to show y'all the 2-minute video. Oh, I'm on this channel. Lord, that's why. I'm supposed to go to the other channel.
A new plan from the A new plan from the Philadelphia School District calls for the closure of 20 schools across the city. Officials say the closure of some schools would allow all schools to operate more efficiently, but the plan still needs school board approval. Action News reporter Taronda Thomas is live in North Philadelphia with details on what the closure means for impacted communities. Taronda.
Well, Sarah, the school district says that this plan will allow them to modernize 159 buildings and maintain 122. But in order to do that, they have to close some buildings, including this school. The playground of Ludlow School filled with the sounds of kids having fun, but in a couple of years, it'll be silent. That's because Ludlow is one of 20 schools slated for closure as part of a new plan unveiled by the School District of Philadelphia.
We'll be able to use our resources in a more efficient manner to drive greater or more high quality academic and extracurricular programs.
Superintendent Tony Watlington says the $2.8 billion plan comes after 2.5 years of feedback from parents and community members.
Everybody has a chance to understand it. We want to do meetings with impacted schools and communities to help them understand our thinking and to get their input.
Here's a list of the elementary, middle, and high schools that will be closed. Students
pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention to
schools. The middle schools will be phased out, and all of the changes are set to take effect in the 2027-28 school year. Watlington says the district considered several factors when deciding which schools to close. They include enrollment and the condition of buildings, including those with poor or unsatisfactory ratings.
We'll be in a position to reduce the number of schools with unsatisfactory or poor ratings from 85 to 0.
As for what will happen to the closed schools, 12 of them will be repurposed for the district to use. 8 of them will be handed over to the city of Philadelphia for job creation or repurposing into affordable housing. Ludlow is one of the schools that will eventually become housing.
I just think it's unfair. He got one of my grandsons coming out now. And he come all the way down from where he lived down here on 13th Fairmount to go to this school. So what's going to happen with him now? Where he going to go to school at?
Now, Watlington says the district will have a transition team to help parents and kids with everything from transportation to social emotional needs. This plan, though, still needs to get the approval of the school board. That meeting is going to happen on February 26th. In the meantime, the district says there will be opportunities for parents and community members to give their feedback on the plan. We are live in North Philadelphia. Taronda Thomas, Channel 6 Action News.
All right, the story we'll be following for some time. Taronda, thank you.
You use AI.
So, I wonder what they're gonna do. Let's really talk about what's happening. All right, because the pattern, all right, ain't even, how can I say, subtle anymore. It's loud, bold, and disrespectful. Every time Philly starts talking about school closures, it's always the black and brown neighborhoods, all right, on the chopping block. Always. Always the same zip codes, the same communities, the same kids who already, are fighting through, how can I say, underfunded trauma in outdated buildings. And the city got the nerve to act like it's, how can I say, a coincidence? Baby. Coincidence where? Where? This is targeted neglect dressed up as, how can I say, budget decisions. So let me ask y'all how many times they got to hit the same communities before we call it what it is. Intentional. Right? And what makes it even worse? What makes it even worse is they ain't building nothing new. Not a damn thing. All right. No new schools, no new facilities, no new safe spaces for kids to learn. They're closing buildings like they're, how can I say, doing spring cleaning. But they ain't replacing nothing. All right. It's like they're trying to erase whole neighborhoods off, how can I say, the educational map. And then they wonder why parents are panicking. Shit. If you take away the schools, you take away the future. So tell me this. How you close 20 schools with no plan for, where the children are supposed to go? You're talking about 20 buildings, right? And in each building is over 500 students. Real shit. There's over 500 students. So you're telling me that y'all going to have to relocate a total of almost maybe probably over 3,000 students. Huh. Let's be real. All right. We already know what's coming next. All right. Overcrowded classrooms, teachers drowning in stress, kids packed in like, on a SEPTA bus during rush hour. And then the district going to turn around and blame the teachers for low performance. How you expect the teacher to give, how can I say, individualized attention when they got 35 kids in a room built for 20? All right. They're setting everybody up to fail. All right. And then acting shocked when the system collapses. So let me ask y'all, how can a child learn when the classroom feels like a survival challenge? I know I'm asking the right questions. Right. And the teachers, they're already overwhelmed. And tell me I'm lying. They're already underpaid. They're already buying supplies out their own pockets. All right. Now you want to throw more students at them with no support? Teachers are about to be in a classroom like, how can I say? All right, kids, today's lesson is improvisation. Improvisation. All right. And honestly, some of them been, how can I say, crafty, because the curriculum they give our kids is dry, outdated, and disconnected from reality. It doesn't reflect the kids' culture, their interest, their intelligence, or how can I say, their lived experience. So tell me this, how you expect kids to stay engaged when the curriculum ain't, how can I say, even speaking their language? But I could be tripping right now. I could really be tripping. But listen, I have a passion for speaking up for kids, all right, and helping parents out. And let's talk about that curriculum for a second, because baby, it's given, how can I say, bare minimum. It's given, we don't care. It's given, teach them just enough to pass that test, but not enough to challenge the system. Meanwhile, our kids are brilliant, creative, curious, and hungry for knowledge that actually reflects who they are. But instead get worksheets from 1998 and a textbook missing pages. And, the districts wonder why kids are bored. So let me ask y'all, how can we expect excellence from kids when the system only gives them scraps? But we know this. And yet we still let the division happen. And the craziest part, they always got a speech ready. All right. We consolidating resources. We optimizing facilities. Baby, just shut the fuck up for once. All right. You're optimizing failure. You're consolidating, how can I say, disadvantage. You're how can I say, restructuring asses. All right. Access out of, how can I say, existence. They love to use big words to hide small intentions. And the intention is clear. Invest less in black and brown kids while pretending it's about efficiency. So let me ask y'all, why do they always find efficiency in our neighborhoods but never in theirs? And I'm going to say something that might, sting, but the truth is, if this was happening in the suburbs, if 20 schools were closing in white neighborhoods, if their kids were about to, be shoved into overcrowded classrooms, if their teachers were drowning, baby, the whole city would be shut down. All right. There would be a protest, lawsuits, news coverage, emergency meetings, everything. But when it's us, what they consider the urban community, poverty, when it's us, they expect silence. They expect compliance. They expect us just to deal with it. So let me ask y'all, why do y'all think our kids are worth less than the ones that got money? The system ain't broken. But, according to the people around me, that's the plea. It's broken. At the end of the day, this ain't just about schools closing. It's about, a future being stolen in real time. It's about a system that keeps telling black and brown kids you don't matter without ever saying the words out loud. It's about a city that keeps choosing punishment over education, chaos over investment, right? And excuses over accountability. And we got to decide right now if we're going to let them get away with it or not. So let me ask y'all one last thing before we continue. Are we ready to fight for our kids' future, or are we going to let them erase it one school at a time? Shout out to, I like what he just said. And no, it's not very hard to see that. I see it. I see it. The Seekers Guild 2026. I like what he said or she said. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Like, I can't tell by the name if you're a man or a woman, but listen, I like what they said. All right. Is it really so hard to see that there is a very real and powerful supernatural entity behind everything today? The evidence is right in front of our face. And I agree with him. That's listen, out of the past couple of days, that's the realest thing someone has said in the chat right now. All right. And I don't disagree with him or her. I'm not sure what they are, but I don't disagree at all. I completely agree. All right. Now, we're going to move on to the next topic, still in Philly. All right. And let me say this, right? Y'all ever notice how every time we talk about Black history, somebody somewhere is trying to rewrite it like, it's a movie script, right? And that's why I like what I gotta get his name right. The Seekers Guild 2026 said, all right, because there's listen. Yes. I'm gonna put it like this, right? Because I think I say it best. I say it best in my poem. Give me 1 second. I say it best in my poem. So let me put my poem on real quick. All right, while I read this chat real quick, and then I'll continue with my commentary. Hey, why you keep signing me out? Always signing me out my stuff. Like, did I give you permission for that? No. So stop signing me out my own stuff. Jeez. Doing stuff without my permission. What's up with you? Like, see. This is why I named my computer Tina. I'm about to go get Ike somewhere. All right. Every time I call Ike, Tina get it together. Snap. Yeah. We living in a world where the rules don't apply. They say we gotta follow, but we ready to fly. System got us boxed in, trying to keep us small. Hold up, I had to pause that. Plain Commando? Wait, he said, what are your thoughts on the legalized nuclear bombs? Hold up, wait a minute. I didn't even know about that. Hold up, wait a minute. Do we have legalized nuclear bombs? Do we have legalized nuclear bombs? Wait, is you talking about the red button? Ain't no legalized. I was getting ready to say, hold up, wait a minute. I had to go do my research. Hey, listen, I do research, all right? I'm like, wait a minute. Did I miss something? Hold on, wait a minute. No, nuclear bombs are not legalized. Rather, they are heavily restricted or banned by international law. Okay, I know I wasn't tripping. Which prohibits the development, testing, production, and use, while some nations possess them. Yeah, okay. Yo, listen, shout out to the trolls. They had me pause everything and go look. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, hold on, wait a minute. There's a lot in my head right now, but listen, I gotta go search. I'm like, wait, what? They legal? I'm like, I know Trump ain't. I'm like, damn, I know Trump gonna do a lot of shit, but what, he legalized this shit? I can't. Shout out to the trolls, yo. Shout out to the trolls. I'm dead. See, I don't mind trolls like that. I don't mind it. And plus, they get you to start, they test your noggin, all right? They'll get me to pop Google out and start asking questions, and I will, I will start researching. But to answer the Seekers Guild 2026, man, look, listen. I always say it, motherfuckers are out here. Is it on this one that I say that people are out here fighting invisible strings? I think it is. Like, I'm not going to sit here and try to prove my worth to nobody, especially with people with money. Because, listen, at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and prove. How can I say? People think that this one's in charge, this one's running, right? But in reality, the ones that are back there, like Papa Duck says, we really can't see, all right? And those people play with, how can I say, dark magic. And I ain't ashamed. I ain't scared to say it. So I really get where, the Seekers Guild 2026 is coming from. A lot of people are out here playing with invisible strings trying to prove their worth, and they don't even know what they got coming. Yeah, we living in a world where the rules don't apply. They say we gotta follow, but we ready to fly. The system got us boxed in, trying to keep us small. But we rise like the phoenix, we ain't scared to brawl. They feeding us lies, but we see it with smoke. We're the voice of the people, we're ready to provoke. They want us to divide, but we're stronger as one. Breaking chains, sticking names, yeah, we getting it done. It's us versus the system, we're breaking the mold. It's in the air, yeah, we taking control. No more silence, no more fear. Together we rise, let them know we're here. Riders ignite. In the world of division, they showed us how to share. But the weight of our sorrows, they never taught us to bear. We split our joys and laughter, but the pain remained untold. A burden we carry alone, a story left untold. They taught us to split everything, but not the heavy pain. He lingers in the shadows, a darkness we can't explain. We're left with shattered pieces, trying to mend what's lost. They taught us how to split everything, but not the heavy cost. We learned to divide our dreams and multiply our fears, but the ache in our hearts only grew with passing years. They gave us all the answers, except how to heal. The scars that run so deep, wounds that time can't see. Yeah, they taught us how to share, but only the good. Smiles and laughter like we understood. But wait, that's not the right one. Give me 1 second. That wasn't the right one. It was bleeding all over the matrix. I think it is. There we go. All right. That's the right one. Yeah. We all got dreams, but we stuck in the grind. Looking back at the past, but it's time to unwind. Everyone can do it, just gotta take that step. Stop dwelling on the losses, let's rewrite the rep. Hating on the president, calling him corrupt. But let me break it down, we gotta interrupt. Lost been in place, he's just playing the game. Ain't about the man, it's about the system's name. How do we move forward? Let's add something new. Together we can rise, yeah, that's what we do. Don't get stuck in the past, let the hate fall away. We build in the future, let's seize the day. Can't you see? You bleeding all over the matrix. Caught in the hype, man, it's all fake tricks. The medic bag empty, y'all shit out of luck. Wake up, before you get stuck. Y'all act like y'all in love, but y'all really in lust. Lost in the fame and the fortune. You ain't got no sense. You got the influencer fixation. You let them run your life. Red or blue, you're just a puppet with strings, always in strife. You think they care, but they don't give a damn. Just chasing the glow, the celebrity clout. They'll play both sides, the red and the blue, but they're just pulling your strings while you're stuck on your move. You're waiting for someone to tell you you're in luck, but mommy and daddy ain't coming, they're not in the cut. You're so blinded by the fame, the glitz and the glam, you forget what's real and who you really are. Wake up and see that you're just a pawn in the game. The red and the blue, they're all just the same. Stop being a puppet and take control of your life and break free from the chains. It's time to ignite. How do we move forward? Let's add something new. Together we can rise. Yeah, that's what we do. Don't get stuck in the past. Let the hate fall away. We building the future. Let's seize the day. Can't you see? You bleeding all over the matrix. Caught in the hype. Man, it's all fake tricks. The medic bag empty. Y'all shit out of luck. Wake up before you get stuck. Yo, I see the struggle, I feel the pain, but we can't let the darkness keep us chained. We got the power, the voice is the might. Let's come together, turn wrongs into right. Everyone's a player, so step to the front. No more division, let's rise from the blunt. It's not just about politics, it's a call to unite. Stand tall, move forward, let's ignite the light. Yeah, we're all in this together, no need to divide. Let's focus on the future, let the love be our guide. From the streets to the halls, let's make change. Break the chains of the past, let's rearrange. Y'all really stuck, puppets with strings attached, waiting for mommy and daddy to tell them they give a fuck. Y'all wondering why y'all stuck? Damn, can't y'all see? Y'all bleeding all over the matrix and the medic bag is empty. Soldier, soldier, in the game of life. You're playing with invisible strings, trying to prove your worth, but you're just a pawn in a bigger fight. They say you're just a number, another statistic in the system, but you're a soul with a story to tell. So stand up tall, break those strings, prove to the world that you're more than just a marionette. Don't let them control your destiny. You're the master of your own fate. Don't be afraid to go after and take. How do we move forward? Let's add something new. Together we can rise. Yeah, that's what we do. Stuck in the past, let the hate fall away. We're building the future. Let's seize the day. Can't you see? You're bleeding all over the matrix. Caught in the hype, man. It's all fake tricks. The medic's bag is empty. Y'all shit out of luck. Wake up before you're stuck. Everyone can do it. How do we move forward? How do we do this? Just add something to it. Some stay stuck in the past. That's not how we last. Y'all hating on the president saying he corrupt. I don't know who he is. I feel like he's implementing what already exists. We gotta rise above the hate and focus on progress. Together we can make a change and leave behind the mess. It's easy to point fingers and place blame, but true change comes from taking action and making a change. Let's unite and work together for a better tomorrow. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, let's focus on what we can borrow. The power lies within us to create a new path, to break free from the chains of doubt and wrath, believe in ourselves and each other. As we strive for greatness, together we can overcome any obstacle that tries to hold us back. Let's think about it. Yo. Damn. Y'all act like y'all in us, chasing shadows lost in the glitter and dust, scrolling through the feeds like it's life or death. But these influences don't care, man. They just cashing checks, stuck in a cycle, puppets on a string, waiting for likes like it's everything. Red or blue, y'all fighting over crumbs. While the real world's burning, y'all just hum and strong. Hum strong until you know. So how do we move forward? Let's add something new. Together we can rise. Yeah, that's what we do. Don't get stuck in the past. Let the hate fall away. We're building the future. Let's seize the day. Can't you see? You're bleeding all over the matrix. Caught in the hype. Man, it's all fake tricks. The medic's bag is empty. Y'all shit out of luck. Y'all better wake up before you get stuck.
So here's the message, loud and clear. We got the power, let's shift the gear. No more dwelling, no more blame. It's time to rise up, let's change the game. So if you feel lost, just look to the sky. We're all in this together, let's reach for the high. Everyone can do it, just take a hand. Together we stand, united we land. So let's move forward, break down the walls. With love and respect, we'll answer the calls. No more hate, just the powerful through. Together we can do it, yeah, me and you, riders. Let's show them how we ignite. Look in the mirror, tell me what do you see? A puppet on a string or a soul that's free? Break the chains, man, it's time to reclaim. Your life's not a game, don't let them play you lame. Stand up, rise up, let your voice be heard. No more silent screams, it's time to spread the word. Riders, let's ignite. Yeah, the world's a stage, but you ain't just a role. Find your truth, let it shine. Yeah, that's the goal. No more fighting over colors, it's unity we need. Plant the seed of change, watch the future succeed. So damn, y'all, stop acting like you're lost. Break the mold, it's time to pay the cost. Heal the wounds, let the real flow. Step out the matrix, man. Let your true self grow. Don't let this digital world, flatline. It's just a little food for thought. And that's some real shit. Like I said, man, I can say it best through the poetry. All right. Like sometimes, my thoughts go, everywhere. So, through my poetry, I could express not just what I feel, what I think, but what I've seen and what I know. Blessings, Janrias. How you doing today? What's up with you?
I'm doing good though. It's like Ramadan recently, so it's day 3 basically. So I've been through 3 fasts during Ramadan right now. So there's 30 days. So right now it's 3 out of 30 right now. So another 27 days to go.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, another 27 days to go. Tomorrow's day 4, so that would be another 26.
So you're going to do your fasting?
Yeah. So the whole point of the fast, though, is actually learn to control the anger, learn to better myself, during those 30 days is better than the whole year, because then all distractions is removed, though, basically. The gates of, hellfire is closed. So it means, though, it's more easier to concentrate while you do it. And basically, hopefully to carry them habits after Ramadan, though, as well. But then also, basically, you're not just fasting from food, you're actually fasting from anger and bad habits, though. That's the main takeaway from it. It's to create discipline from sunrise to sunset. When you don't have food or water from that period to wake up early to eat and drink, and then after that you have to survive the entire day. No food, no water. Because there's people in the world, they don't have food, they don't have water, and some of them people don't even complain though, they just keep going, man. And basically, when we don't get water or food, we complain.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people is. You're right. A lot of people listen. That's why I said the other day, I was speaking about what was going on in the schools and stuff like that, and I had somebody pop up in the chat talking about, oh, we ain't gonna get nowhere, we ain't gonna do nothing. I was like, well, a lot of people ain't sacrificed themselves for us to be where we at. So obviously by doing something, standing together, we accomplish some stuff. See, the thing is, people think, oh, the world is going to end. Guess what? The world is going to be exactly where the world is going to be at. We're the ones that is not going to be here. You see where I'm coming from? We're going to be gone. Mankind is the one that goes. So it's like I tell people, man,
day is nearly here, but then at the same time, we're still on this earth for a specific purpose, and we have to fulfill that, though. Because your descendants and your bloodline will ask questions. Why didn't you act when you're gone from this earth? People, not just your whole family, your bloodline, though, will literally ask you, what did you do? Why didn't you actually set up these foundations for them? And they look back at what you did and stuff like that, and it's not that they're mad. They're like, wow, I wish they would have done that. So that's why I try to do what I gotta do. So then, when people who come after me, though, will look at me, at the legacy. Of course, I have to please God, but at the same time, though, what type of legacy am I leaving on this earth?
That's a fact, and that's why we talk about these things, right? Um, how can I put this? I'm gonna put it like this. Like I was telling the person that came to troll me that day, right? It's funny
Mm-hmm.
how people complain about everything that's going on instead of teaching themselves something or teaching, the seed that they have planted on this world, right? How to, blossom into something. But instead we complain about every little thing. But yet, what would you do if the grid was to go down? Because that's what you should be worrying about, not if the world should end. The world ain't going nowhere. But if that grid was to go down, a lot of us would be living like if we was on Resident Evil or that damn movie that my baby pops put me on to the
Terminator.
last time. I can't,
We're gonna soon
no, not
imagine
Terminator.
the
It's another one. It's another one. It's
wait, Last of Us. No, I think wait, you
Last
think
of Us.
Resident Evil, Walking Dead, and Last of Us world, basically.
Kinda, in a way, yeah, without the, how can I say, the zombies and all that extra stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be us. It's gonna
Yeah,
be humans
but who
fighting
knows
humans.
though? Yeah, but you never
Humans
know though.
for
One day zombies will come to life one day, actually. It's just that we won't be there to see it.
ain't no zombies coming to life. Let me tell you something, young Reyes, right? You
I
know what the
doubt
zombies
that.
are?
Anything's
Listen,
possible.
no, I get what you're coming from, but you want to know what the zombies are? When you look at the zombies, right, in the movies, pay close attention to them. Who do they resemble in reality?
Oh, okay, you have a point. People who wait, so when you mean by zombies, people who are just basically stuck in their ways though, basically?
No,
Or like in their
no,
mind?
no,
I don't know then, you
no.
can tell me.
All right, when you look at these streets, right? Because I know that in the UK they got hoods, right? And I know you
Yeah.
don't be in the hood,
Yeah,
but you've passed
they're
through them,
called
right?
there is
Hold on. Let me
hoods.
land my plane. Wait, Reyes. Let me land my plane so that you can understand where I'm
Okay,
coming
continue, sir.
from. Hold up. When you look at these streets, right, and you look around, what is the one thing that you see that is growing the most, right? And I'm gonna tell you, these addicts, right? Now, pay attention to the addicts, whether they're on heroin, they're on wet, or whatever high, drug that they can't really get off on their own. You see where I'm coming from? What do they
Mm-hmm.
look like? Who do they resemble? The zombies in the movies, the zombies in the books, right? That's why you constantly hear me. Like if you've been watching me, right? I constantly said that I've grown up to understand and learn that when they show us in these movies monsters and these creatures, I'm not talking about the supernatural, all right? I'm talking about these monsters, these werewolves, these, all these things, right? If you really look at it, it's somebody in reality. It represents a human in reality. Look at the broken homes, the toxicity in relationships and friendships. You see where I'm coming from? How we hurt
Mm-hmm.
each other. If you pay attention and you look at it in reality, when you learn about the history of Dracula, what was he? A prince and a king that sat here, right? And there's two Draculas. We talked about this before on our lives,
Without
right?
the impaler.
Okay. So when you look at them, either one of them, they used to, drink the blood of babies and, stuff like that so that they could stay young, right? What do
Mm-hmm.
they deal with? Black magic, right? Now, when you look at what you call the so elites here in this real world, who does that? The people that we can't see. And there's people
Ooh,
that practice it throughout the world, but I want you to pay attention, right? Because it's like when you look at movies and you read books, right? You got to look at it. It's a metaphor. It's philosophy. It's kind of like philosophy, right? I can't even pronounce the word right, so I'm not even going to get myself there, put myself in that situation. But when you look at it, right, and then when you look at the real world, you can actually see the real picture of what's being said, what's
ooh,
being
okay, you
told.
have a point. You got a point I feel you. When you mean by the two Draculas, though, that yeah, I know which one you're talking about. One is the myth and the story, and one is actually a historical figure named Vlad the Impaler. They
Where
just called him
where they
Dracula because he was known for for what he did on the battlefield and what he did afterwards, and how
yep.
what type of person he was, though.
Hmm.
So
That's a
yeah, I
fact.
know what you mean though when you said two Draculas though, and then some people are gonna say, "What do you mean?" No, actually, some people who don't know, basically, there is a person who actually existed. His name was Dracula, but he's not actually what they describe him to be. He's basically royalty that was basically really poison hot. Like his heart was really cold though, and it was pure evil,
Hmm.
basically, right? and he was known as Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah. And us, you know, before we dive a little more into history, right? Because I'm glad we're talking about this. Is diving us into this topic that I wanted to hit real quick, all right? And I want y'all to, you know, really listen to me, right? Y'all ever notice how every time we talk about Black history, right, somebody somewhere is trying to rewrite it like it's a movie script, right? It's crazy because it's not even subtle, all right? They either erase the truth, soften it, or twist it into something that fits whatever narrative they want to push at the moment. And I'm sitting here like, yo, do y'all really think that we don't see what's happening? Do y'all really think we don't, how can I say, read? Like, we don't question, we like don't remember, excuse me. They keep trying to remix our history like we ain't the ones who lived the consequences of it. So let me ask y'all, all right, why are they so scared? How can I say? Why are they so scared of the real version of our story?
Because they're actually afraid of the harsh reality and the truth that basically the Black man is the first man to step foot on the earth. Because it's actually, you know, the way it was described though in every scripture, basically the original, you know, man to step foot on earth. Basically, it's just that everyone else though just developed differently though. I can give you examples as well. You know, there were people called the Elamites though, right? They're the ancestors to the Persians though, right? And the Elamites were actually described as dark-skinned people and stuff like that though, you know? That's what the Elamites were though, actually. They were the sons of Shem and stuff like that though, basically. So that they are the ancient ancestors though. And then after you had the Persians, so the Elamites don't exist anymore. They basically got absorbed into the Persians though, but basically they live on not just through historical stuff though, but basically they live on through their descendants, the Persians though. And then you have, you know, the southern Persians who are like basically, you know, melanated though, basically like that. So, you know, in that kind of aspect though, to bring it all back to summarize everything though, some people are just really, they know the truth, but it's just that they can never bring their own ego / their heart to actually accept it though. Because, you know, their mind actually knows what is real, but they can never actually make themselves actually agree to it because it's their own ego.
Facts. And it's wild, right? Listen, we have these conversations for a reason. There's a lot going on, and I'm going to show y'all in a minute why I'm talking about this, why I'm saying this, right? And me saying all this, right? And it's crazy because I don't even know if it's just Philly, right? It feels like bigger than that. It feels like a whole national project to water down the truth. They want to erase the ugly parts, the violent parts, the uncomfortable parts, the parts that, you know, expose how this country was really built. They want to turn history into a bedtime story instead of, you know, how can I say, instead of the horror film it actually was. And then they get mad when, you know, we bring up the real facts. Baby, the truth don't just
Actually, you got a point on that though, you know. So for example,
but let me land this one last thing, right? Like, listen, I just want y'all to understand the truth don't disappear just because you're uncomfortable. And I want y'all to tell me this, right? And if anybody can answer this one question, right? And I'm gonna let Rhea say what he's got to say. Why they always trying to project feelings instead of protecting facts? And that's what I think it is, because it's funny how, right here in Philadelphia, in the president's house, right, which is like, you know, like a museum thing now, right? They asked to remove all Black history, you know, how can I say, all the Black history moments that, you know, were left there. And now, you know, due to a judge's order, they had to put them back. Now they're saying the Trump administrations are, you know, the reason why this is being done, right? But my thing is, right, the wildest part about this is they always pick a character, right, to exaggerate. They either make somebody look like the devil or make them look like a saint. There's no in between, no humanity, no complexity, just extremes, right? And that's not history. That's that's how can I say, propaganda, like my old heads used to say. They don't want us to see, how can I say, people as layered, flawed, brilliant, complicated human beings. They want us to see symbols, not stories. So let me ask y'all, who benefits when our leaders get, you know, flattened into cartoons instead of real people? Right? Like, That's a real question. And I listen, I know that I ask provocative questions. I love that Riaz be brave. I love when Riaz helps out here. Right. And y'all see, I notice I stay quiet when he speaks on the history parts or certain current news because he knows a little bit of his history. He may not be here from America, but I want y'all to understand, right? Everything in the map connects, right? People need to learn their history, right? Here in America, listen, people owned their lands before they were turned into slaves. People were taken from America to the Caribbean and turned into slaves. That's why they were slaves in the Caribbean. Puerto Rico, Colombia, Honduras, Haiti, all of the Jamaica, everywhere, right? So before we
Yeah.
start
And I
talking,
think
we
the
need to learn
chief,
our history.
okay, so I was gonna say also the chief is though also the original people of America was actually melanated people though actually. It's just
Moorish
that you
and
they,
there were the Moorish and other I forgot what they. I know the Moorish is the main one of them.
no, I mean there were other indigenous people too though
Yeah,
who were actually as well. You got the copper colored though as well, the copper
I gotta
colored
get their name
people
right.
though as well. So but I know I get you on that kind of aspect too though actually. I know the Moors were the first to visit America, but they weren't first ones to
Yes,
be
they
there
were.
though.
No,
No, no,
they were.
no, I get you on that. But I'm saying there were people before them, though.
No, there were people together with them.
No. I agree with you. No, sorry,
No,
I
there's no
get you.
difference. That's why I say what I'm saying. I was like, no, the indigenous and the black Africans were here together, the same way that they was together in Africa, and people don't seem that they don't seem to understand that part. They were indigenous and black Africans in both areas, America and in the Caribbean. But see, because of the slavery part, things got, how can I say, so twisted up, diluted, or shit got, how can I
I
say,
get you on the more part though. But
that's
anyways,
why I
though.
know here in America, the real people of America wasn't just indigenous. Right? And you know what's
No,
crazy? The
I
Moors are
know.
indigenous. Listen,
I get
when you
you on
hear a
that
Moor
aspect.
speak, what do they call themselves? They
Hmm?
claim to be indigenous. When Moors speak, they claim to be indigenous.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. It's like we gotta really learn our history. See, me, I've gone as far to learn that, when it comes to my roots, we've talked about this. I'm a Taino, right?
Yeah.
And my family is not just up in the Caribbean. It's crazy. But see, we didn't, how can I say, we didn't exist over here. We came from the Caribbeans.
No, I get
I
you on
don't
that
mean
though.
that it's
Sorry.
crazy. It's hard. That's why I'm like, everything's been so twisted up, right?
Okay. Yeah, I get
And
you on that though as well. My route though is not just basically in the Indian subcontinent. They actually went through Persia and China though. Actually, I could actually have a mix of that because you know where it was though, right? The Persians though, right? They bred with the original people of the Indian subcontinent, but before that though, what they did, they fought with them. They couldn't take over the whole, so what they did instead is basically they went around the board, all right? They took over pieces of the land and they bred with the people there. But before that, they probably went through China though, and then probably, they went they went through that, and then basically, that's how you got me 13th century history. So the Indo-Persians became the Pakistanis though, because that's just the name. And also, though, I don't claim to be Indian, though. It's not that, though. Like, look, the reason I say I'm not Indian because they would tell you that, and also, though, it's because me and them are two different people. Once upon a time, we shared a history, but then at the same time, we're not the same people, though. Whatever they had though before me is before me. That's got nothing to do with me. Mine's more of 13th century, and then after that, nothing. After that, that's just something else. No, I get you on the aspect you were saying. No, I know the Moors were there too, though. I know. Yeah, but actually, I was gonna say anyways, though, right? The original people of the UK, though, right, were actually the Celts, though, right? And they were actually, they were melanated, though. But then after that, though, you had after the Celts, you had the Romans, though, and then after the Romans was Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings together, and then pretty much, though, after that, though, basically, it was the Normans who came in, and then you got the rest later, though.
Yeah, see, Riaz knows a lot about history. So listen, that's the whole point. I open these panels, I see somebody in the in the comments has a problem because Ria's isn't black or brown, I see. But at the end of the
I
day,
fall under the brown.
I was about
Sorry, I was
to.
gonna tell you. I fall under the brown category. Actually, it's just that basically I'm more Asiatic though, because I come from
Mhm.
the Asian
Listen, man,
continent,
we
though,
ain't here
but the
to.
southern region. No, basically, I know I'm not. I may
We're not
not
here
be
to
black,
listen. We're
but
not
I
here to worry
actually
about that.
empathize with that. But anyways, though, let's just get to what
Yeah,
we
because
gotta get to.
we here to unite. Like people don't understand that part. Like we need to learn really, really our history. Like it's funny as shit. But
Yeah.
listen, like and it's funny, right? Because I want y'all to listen. I'm gonna show y'all this clip real quick, right? Because I want y'all to see what they're. I don't know if they're doing this everywhere, but it happened here in Philadelphia. All right. So it seems like yesterday they ended up restoring. All right, because we talked about this the other day. They ended up restoring the slavery exhibits. All right. A judge ordered it. I don't know why the Trump administration, if it was the Trump administration who ordered it, why did they decide to do that? But it seems like um every time that there's some type of political issue going on with the government, somehow some way Black History Month, they try to like sabotage it or take something from it.
Exhibits and renderings of slavery were returned to the walls of the president's house in Old City today. They were put back up by the National Park Service after a judge ordered them restored by tomorrow. The Trump administration had them removed last month. CBS Philadelphia's Kerry Corrado caught up with those celebrating the exhibits' return.
A lot of people just care about telling the full truth when it comes to our history. Because if you're not telling the full history, it's not history.
That tells everyone's story.
A rally to celebrate their win in court. The Avenging the Ancestors Coalition gathered at the president's house site on Independence Mall, thrilled the slavery exhibits were being reinstalled. About half were back up Thursday night.
Organizers and those who attended the rally say they are happy to see the exhibit back up. They say they are still worried about the future and the fight is still far from over.
The fight is still going on. This is one win of a battle in the war.
That battle started about a month ago when the city sued the federal government after dozens of panels were removed to comply with an executive order from President Trump. A judge ruled in favor of the city and gave the feds a Friday 5 p.m. deadline to bring it all back. In the meantime, the Interior Department appealed the judge's decision and asked for an emergency stay. The judge ordered the city of Philadelphia to respond by 4 p.m. on Thursday. CBS News Philadelphia reached out to the city, and we are waiting to hear back.
We are fighting against the federal government. We are fighting the President of the United States, the Department of the Interior. And if you have a good case, if you have the people behind you, you can win anything.
Mayor Parker also stopped by the site to thank the Park Service workers.
And I want to say thank you.
It's our honor.
And I want you to know I'm grateful.
It's our honor, man.
Those who are fighting endlessly for the exhibit say they hope it's here to stay.
We were ecstatic, but we understand that this is a lawless administration. And even if we win in the courts, we don't know if they're going to do the right thing with it. But first, we got to win in the courts.
Kerry Corrado, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Huh?
Order next week.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
But I give you that kind of aspect when it comes to history type thing though. Like I wish I would have just learned, the stuff that I know now, I wish I would have learned that long time ago, They wouldn't actually teach that though and actually mention about the Celts part though and who they really were and everything
private
like
student loan
that.
debt wrecking your life?
I wish I would have
You
learned
really
about
need to
that
talk to
long time
Irie.
ago.
yeah, I mean,
I
a
wish
lot
I
of
would
people
have
don't
learned
know
that a
their
long
history
time
until
ago, but it's
recently.
okay
So
though.
listen,
No, I know it's mostly
listen, right?
Eurocentric. So I was gonna say,
Listen.
basically what you learn in school is Eurocentric mostly.
Facts. But listen, I'm gonna use this as an example, right? Y'all seen that, right? I'm gonna use this as an example. And why I constantly keep saying, right, to do y'all history, to do y'all research and learn your own history, right? Because take Martin and Malcolm, for example, right? The minute somebody mentioned the dark side of Martin or Malcolm, people lost their minds. But I'm sitting here like, y'all don't know. Y'all didn't read, y'all didn't watch the documentaries. These men were human. All right. They had flaws, they had struggles, they had contradictions, just like every other leader in history. But when it's Black leaders, suddenly the world expects perfection. So let me ask y'all, why do they demand flawlessness, right, from our heroes, but let everybody else be messy and complicated? All right. And let's be real. Martin was tricky, right? he had his issues. He had his contradictions. He wasn't, how can I say, the soft, gentle, I have a dream teddy bear. All right. They tried to point, how can I say, paint him to be. All right. He was strategic. He was political. He was bold. And he was, not always liked. And Malcolm, whew, you could tell, he had that gangster in him. You could hear it in the way he spoke, the way he moved, the way he carried his
He was
past
a
with
man who
honesty and
moved
stuff.
without fear.
Yeah, he wasn't hiding who he was. He wasn't pretending. So let me ask y'all, why do y'all, how can I say, sanitize Martin and demonize Malcolm when both men were fighting the same damn system? That's the crazy part, right? And when I was a kid reading their stories, I had questions, big questions, because the way the books told it didn't match the way the world talked about them. The books made it seem like Martin was a saint and Malcolm was a menace. But when you actually read deeper, you realize both of them were brilliant. Both of them were flawed. Both of them were necessary. And, that's the, how can I say, what scared people, the truth that our leaders were humans, not mythical. Tell me this. Why do they think we can't handle the truth about our own icons? And, that's the thing. They put certain people on pedestals for a reason, right? Not to honor them, but to control the narrative around them. All right. If they make Martin look too perfect, they can use him, against us.
Wow.
If they make Martin look too perfect, they can use him against us, right? If they make Malcolm look dangerous, right, they can dismiss him. It's all strategy. It's all.
Wait, can I have to tell you something interesting as well about Malcolm as well? When he came over to the UK and stuff like that, though, he inspired people like me to actually fight for, myself, though. Actually, people a long, long time ago, 50s, 60s, people like me had to hide everything about them. They hid their language, they hid their culture, they hid everything about themselves. They pretended to be something that they're not. And while they did that, they took severe abuse while they had to do that. And they were afraid to step out of the house and everything. And then literally, I think Malcolm came there to visit UK, and he probably went there for a speech or something like that. They asked Malcolm to help out. He said, though, look, you have to fight for yourself. And then basically that inspired people to do that. Those same people in the 50s, 60s, they listened to what Malcolm said. And from then onwards, though, they paved the way, for people in the 70s, though, to basically be their real self. So by the time my grandfather came to the UK, he came as himself, though, basically, because there were people before him who paved the way that made it easier for him to be there in the first place, though, And, my father got to grow up with his original culture and everything like that, because, the struggles them people had to go through in the 50s and the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 40s, basically. So that's what they went through, and Malcolm actually was there because that's little known fact as well. Malcolm came over here, and literally though, he inspired people here to actually fight for themselves though as well, and that's why and also also Malcolm is also the main reason though that also though he helped also spread the Muslim faith across America. Islam was already in America before that because the Moors brought it, but actually Malcolm helped spread it further as it is, and that's why you have a lot now though, basically. Of course you have people come in saying the impact of Malcolm made it more easier to be that.
Facts.
So yeah, I get you now kind of aspect too, though, So that
So
type of
see,
thing.
the thing is that it's all about shaping how we see ourselves and our power, right? Reality, and what Rhea just said is some facts. So let me ask y'all, who gets to decide which parts of our history get spotlighted, right? And which parts get buried? And that's the crazy part, right? At the end of the day, the truth, right? The truth is this: Black history has always been edited, filtered, rearranged, and repackaged to fit somebody else's comfort. But we're in a time now where we're reading more, questioning more, digging deeper, and refusing to accept the the watered down version. we want the real story, the messy story, the complicated story, the human story, because that's where the power is. That's where the lessons are. That's where, the truth lives. So let me ask y'all one last thing. Are we ready to reclaim our history exactly as it happened and not as they it to be told?
Right.
And that's something that we have to, tell ourselves.
Right. It's also so interesting as well. The little people did, how basically the Indian subcontinent got poisoned because actually after when the British left, you know what they did? Like the railway system, right? They stole $47 trillion from the entire Indian subcontinent. They owe $47 trillion though, because that's in total basically 1.7 billion for Pakistan, 1.7 billion for Bangladesh, one for India, and one for Sri Lanka. Add that all up, you get 47 trillion though in total. That's how much is owed though, basically. They stole $47 trillion worth of money because of the railway system. Like it's not just the partition that was going on, it's also had the British folks, literally British Empire literally stole that much money from the land, basically. I feel like this though as well, though, overthrowing the Mughal Empire was a big mistake though, because when the Mughals were actually ruling, they actually invested in the land. That's why though, under that rule, you wonder why they were so rich and so wealthy, and they basically had a good system going for them, and how stable their land was though. Of course there was fighting, of course that's always of course there's conflict and it's always gonna be there, but you actually wonder why they stayed in power for so long, because they actually invested in their land and people actually, respected the fact of what they're doing. That's why, the people, the tribe that I belong to was actually loyal to the Mughals though, they were very loyal. They fought against the Surreys, they fought against the British though, because out of loyalty, because that's who they were though. So yeah.
That's how it is. For real, for real. Well, with everything that's going on here in Philadelphia, right? We had the city committee meeting not so long ago. So we're going to check this out real quick. All right. Now, y'all let me know what's going on here in Philly is happening within your city or state. All right. So we're going to get past this guy over here. Let me get this over here because, Lord, I don't want no ads. These damn ads get on my nerves.
Service and the opportunity that system to govern amidst be driven not by fear, commitment to vulnerable and wall. To appease, give them ears to listen to the people they serve.
The next order of business is the approval of the journal of the meeting of Thursday, February the 5th, 2026.
So they're going to have another meeting on the 26th. So we're going to do a part 2 to this live, okay? So this is a stated meeting. They're talking about the things that are happening here in Philadelphia. I know they should have this in other cities and states, right? They have this everywhere. But I don't know if what's happening here. I don't know if what's happening here is happening in other places. So let's check out what's going on in Philadelphia. I do know there's a lot of us trying to come together, a lot of us trying to start some organizations that will keep fighting, all right, for the things that people think that we cannot gain within our communities. I know I've, sat here and talked to some good organizations that want to make a difference, that are fighting, what, how can I say, needs to be fought within our communities to get the resources that we need and for us to keep, how can I say, thriving.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the journal of the meeting of Thursday, February 5th, 2026 be approved.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the journal of the meeting of Thursday, February the 5th, 2026 stand approved. All those in favor will indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the journal is approved. The next order of business is request for leave of absence, and the chair recognizes Councilmember and Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. On behalf of the majority, there are no requests for leave of absence today.
The chair thanks the Majority Leader.
We're gonna go a little forward. We're gonna go a little forward because we want to hear what they got to say, what they're speaking on. All right.
City government, specifically.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the legislative whip the minority party, Nicholas O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've asked for a leave of absence for Minority Leader Kendra Brooks.
The chair thanks the council member, and leave will be granted.
Yeah, do this one.
The chair now recognizes Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson for a motion concerning certain legislative matters that may arise during the course of today's session of council and that were not listed on the calendar circulated prior to today's council session.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that any of the following matters, if considered today, may be added to the agenda for this session of council and as required by law, subsequently published on an amended agenda after the consideration of those matters. Resolutions authorizing hearings, amendments to bills on first reading, the reconsideration of a bill vetoed by or recalled from the mayor, amendments to bills recalled from the mayor, resolutions taking substantive action to be voted on in this session, a motion to withdraw a bill or resolution that is not on the calendar, and a motion placing a bill or resolution on or returning a bill or resolution from the suspension calendar that is not listed on today's calendar. The purpose of this motion is to provide the public with notice concerning possible actions by council that arose too late to be included on the calendar that was published prior to today's session.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the legislative.
It is crazy. Hold on, we want to get to where people are talking, all right? Because I don't want to bore y'all. See, I could sit and watch this by myself, but
Okay, that's interesting.
oh, I know they're gonna be bored.
Wait, but I need to tell you this, but you actually have, I've heard this story as well, though, where I'm at, though, basically, though, that the UK is becoming less London-centric, though, you know, they're slowly, like, basically evening out, though, like, places like Manchester are, like, outperforming London, though, like, it's more cheaper to live in Manchester than it's easier to live in London, though, you know, like, London's become so expensive, though, it's been on a decline for so long, though, and, you know, so much debt and everything like that, you know. Companies are starting to go to like Manchester basically and other places though, so it's less London centric now.
Yeah, but I mean it's getting expensive everywhere, man. For a bag of grapes, you're almost paying $17.
Yeah, wait, not just grapes. It's more like cost of living, petrol prices, fuel prices though. Let's see what else.
I mean everything went up. Everything, bills went up.
Literally. Yeah.
Gas, everything went up. Ain't shit go down.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, when I actually mentioned the fact UK is becoming less London-centric, you know, over there, I know it's something similar. Which place is becoming, you know, less focused on that, you know, focused on a specific place, though? Because, you know, like when I say London's like New York, it is actually literally come here. It's like something familiar to you, though, actually, though, because, you know, it's kind of similar in a way, you know.
You're not the first person I've heard say that. But hold on, let's continue with this video real quick to see, because I want to get to where people are talking, because I want people to see that, you know, I need to stop. See, they don't let you record in these places. That's the crazy part. So I like reviewing and reacting.
Hey, but look, though, I'm gonna hop down, though. It's getting late for me, though. I appreciate you having me up, though. This is a good conversation. I just, you know, watching the, you know, chat, though. But I appreciate you having me up, though.
Same here, same here. I appreciate you, Young Reyes. Shout out to Young Reyes, y'all.
And resolutions. The chair recognizes Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to quickly also just note that Samir Taylor is a student at Abraham Lincoln High School. He's a senior and he's joining us for our office for the next 6 weeks as well. So just want to say that really quickly. I have no bills. I missed my part. I have no bills and resolutions, Council President.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. And the time to acknowledge individuals is during the welcoming part, sir.
I knew that was coming.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Thank you, Council President. Today I offer one non-privileged resolution on your behalf.
Thank you very much. Would the chief clerk please read the title of the non-privileged resolution?
A non-privileged resolution confirming the appointment of Wesley R. Payne IV as a member of the Board of Ethics to serve in the term ending November 16th, 2029.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee. The chair recognizes Councilman Jamie Gaultier.
They trying to pass a lot of bills. Damn. See, the crazy part, all these bills are trying to get passed, and they don't pass none of them.
Today, I'm introducing one non-privileged resolution, and I'm co-introducing it with Minority Leader Kendra Brooks, Minority Whip Nicholas O'Rourke, and Councilmember Rue Landau.
February 20th, 2026, as Love Your Pet Day in the city of Philadelphia.
I'm dead.
This resolution will be placed on today. Sign up sheet.
43-250-91710.
Thank you. Before considering these bills and resolutions, we will consider public comment as follows. Your public comment must concern matters on the second reading and final passage calendars for possible action at today's council session. All speakers must sign up in order to testify. If you have not already signed up for today's session, please do so now by giving your name to Ms. Hassan at the table outside the rally too.
Yeah.
Once you have signed ideal circumstance, may vary from session. In order to begin speaking, you will see a green light on the podium. When there are 30 seconds remaining to your time, the light will turn yellow, which is your reminder to please conclude your remarks. Once 2 minutes have passed, the light will turn red, and the sergeant at arms will disconnect the microphone. Please don't get an attitude with him. He's only doing his job.
See, and listen. People get mad at me when I tell them, look, listen, I ain't debating you here on social media. All right. If I'm going to debate, I'm going to town hall. All right. I'll sit here, I'll do my 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and people are like, you tripping. That's not true. Yes, it is. That's how the debates go. You got 10 to 15 minutes to say what you got to say and convince them to change these policies. Man, people want to sit here and debate me on something that I know on social media. Man, if you don't get out my face with your, be a good girl, Ray. Be a good girl.
At that point, please yield the podium to the next speaker if you have not done so already. I also reserve the right pursuant to our rules of City Council to limit repetitious comments on the same subject matter. I will now ask the Chief Clerk to please read the name of our first speaker.
Will Lindsay Hardees, April Velez, Jeremy Blatstein, Jody Applebaum, and Judith Robinson please make your way to the podium?
My kung fu. I don't know nothing about no kung fu, but I know some Mortal Kombat. I could turn into Scorpion real quick. Slash somebody's head off. Real shit. I don't know nothing about kung fu, but I know some Mortal Kombat and some Street Fighters. Uyuki! He said kung fu. You think Bruce Lee did kung fu? I don't know what the fuck Bruce Lee did.
Jody Applebaum. There we go. Jody Applebaum. I agree that indiscriminate breeding contributes to shelter overcrowding. However, by classifying all breeding by individuals as indiscriminate and contributory, this bill affects the very people to whom buyers should turn for a puppy. I am an AKC breeder of merit. It means I have demonstrated outstanding commitment to breeding high-quality dogs from champion lines. I follow the recommendations specific to my breed for health tests of any dog used in breeding. The goal is to have puppies with good, even temperaments who are structurally sound and are free from inherited health problems. We vet our potential owners thoroughly and often say no. My puppies are registered with the AKC within weeks of their birth. We have contracts and our relationship begins with that contract.
I mean, that's how it's supposed to be by law. See, this is why when people, I mean, obviously that's how it's supposed to be. It's like when people say, well, Trump is doing this. Well, it's already a law. Like, y'all act like he's bringing something new. Like, he's only implementing what already exists. I don't get tired of saying that. Like, and it's funny because when they come to my baby pops and try to say the same, like, no, he's going to say the same thing I said, right? But on some respectful type shit. You won't even know he disrespected you. I'll be the only one laughing because I knew that he dissed you, right? In the same, listen, some people just slow. Now, let's see where she's going with this. All right, because I'm for the animals, but sometimes they bring the dumbest things to, like, all right, what's the point of this? Like, I'm really trying to be nice and not disrespect, but what's the point of this? Like, everything you're saying is supposed to be a law already. Like, I could understand if they want to change something or something is wrong, right? But, dude, it exists. It exists already. Like, what the fuck?
If for any reason the owner cannot care for the dog at any point in its life, we will take it back without exception. Nobody who goes through the interview process and pays what we ask for our dogs is going to abandon that dog to the streets. Activists have done their very best to remove all distinctions between responsible and irresponsible breeders. It is insulting to be lumped together with the people at whom this bill is directed. What makes us different? Dedication to a breed, to their health, to their structure, to their temperament, to our puppies and to their owners. Breeders like me are actually allies because we do our very best to educate people away from the backyard breeder, the Lancaster puppy mill, and the slick internet website.
Oh, snap. They trying to come at the dog breeders. What they do wrong? Snap. Like, they trying to shut down farms and now they trying to close down dog breeder lands and stuff like that. I know they got to have some land to breed these dogs. I was looking into that. Huh?
People use their own property. They can't stop us.
What the fuck?
Site. If this bill passes, I will be forced to leave the city that I love so I do not endanger a breeding program that has taken years.
Why are they trying to take away, listen, I don't see nothing wrong with a dog breeder, doing what they gotta do. Like, listen, I keep trying to tell y'all, man, this shit is it's deeper. It's deeper than what a lot of people think. It's deeper than what we think. All right. Shit. I don't even know why I separated us like that. Like, we're some type of aliens or something. Like, Ray, get it together. Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's just they're like, whoa, wait a minute. First the farmers, now they're fucking with the dog breeders. Ooh. So basically she's trying to stop them, from, I guess, seizing her property, or from they're trying to stop people, dog breeders from breeding dogs and stuff like that. But why? I mean, it's crazy because you can't help who comes and buys a puppy off you. You see where I'm coming from, right? And it's messed up. A lot of people out here come buy these animals, whether they buy it from a breeder or they'll go to a pet shop and grab one, and then they just abandon it. It happens everywhere. Like, and I didn't even know you can go fight for that. Like, what they gonna do? Like they gonna arrest the people that sit here and abandon? Like, how do you know who abandoned? I mean, they must have. But what if you pay for a dog for in cash? How you supposed to know who the fuck came? But then you got paperwork. Even if they paid, cash, the receipt is in whoever signs the paperwork, right? Because they gotta purchase a dog certificate, license, all that. But damn, they messing with everybody. All right. I stand wrong on what I said. All right, they messing with her property. They trying to take everything away from her. Sure. All right, fight for your rights.
Thank you.
Damn, ain't nobody clapped.
Will Lindsay Hardy's
Damn, why only one person clapped? That's messed up.
April Velez and Judith Robinson please make your way toward the podium?
Let's see what she got to say.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Bladstein. Thank you, Councilwoman Bass, for your bill. My friend Jess would be very supportive of this. She adopts from the SPCA time after time, and this bill is really important to her. The other two bills we're speaking of course, is everyone's favorite Councilman Young. Yes, thank you for withdrawing your Hahnemann overlay bill. I know your goal was to get more housing built in your district, so goal accomplished. Thank you very much. The other two bills that you have, you're holding one of them. It's regarding the demolition ban that you say is going to stop blight and gentrification. It's just not true and is a problem. It's just going to add cost to small developers, right? We're really trying to help small developers be successful, and more blue tape is not what we need. Mayor Parker said it herself yesterday. In order to tackle this problem, we need to do supply and production.
Facts.
That should be the goal of every bill, and this bill is going to prevent that.
And that's true. I mean, unless they have production and they, have supply, how are they going to make the money to, do anything? If y'all take that from them, it's like y'all trying to, collapse everything. All right, let's put it like this. It seems like it's going in the way that Trump said from the beginning, right? He said he's going to collapse the system and rebuild the system. All right, but how is Trump going to do that? What happens when everything collapses? And that's why I said, listen, man, y'all better start preparing yourself, getting yourself together. The world's not going to end. All right. If anything, a lot of shit is just going to reset. Okay, but will the system reset?
The goal is to grow Philly to 2 million, and your
What?
other bill in terms of small businesses
Philly to 2
is
million?
just going to be hurt small businesses, right? 11 p.m. I don't know. What if you want to get something to eat real fast? What if you want to get something from the corner store? This bill prevents that. And realistically, restaurants that don't have liquor license would have to close at 11 p.m. I don't think you should be the restaurant thing is a big deal right now. And last but not,
And I talked about that. We did a whole live, and it seems like there's people, fighting for their small businesses, right? Because it's crazy how, after events and stuff like that, people like to go out, get some food on the late nights, right? But unless you have liquor, you cannot have your establishment open until after 11 p.m. But why? Why is it that the liquor stores get to stay open, but not the businesses, that are selling food? It's just like, you know what? Listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie, right? Like, these small businesses isn't creating the crimes, but the people, intoxicated with the alcohol that is legal to drink are out here crashing, unaliving people on sidewalks, all right? Doing a whole bunch of, I can go down the list, all right? But that's legal. It's legal to get intoxicated and do some dumb shit, but it's not okay to, come out of an event or something after 11 p.m., right, and stop at a little business that's selling some food or a restaurant and sit down and eat peacefully and go home. No, if you're not intoxicated, it's not okay. And it's crazy that that's really only happening within the urban communities. I've already talked about this. This is crazy. And now, see what I'm saying? It comes right back around. It's been a few months since we talked about this, right? How they was planning on doing all this, blah, blah, blah. And because they said that Philadelphia was going to go under, how can I say, under, I don't know how to call it. Basically, how can I say, I forgot what the word was. But after a certain time, all establishes, everybody, got to be in. Like supposedly, I mean, they did this before, right? Allegedly, if they catch a kid outside after a certain time, they're supposed to either take them to the, district or find who their parent is. Ain't no officer doing that. They haven't done that in a while. What makes you think they're going to do it now? Man, I've been talking about implementing the law, but no matter how much we talk about it, is they going to do it?
at least, we're talking about SEPTA. The GM of SEPTA, he was here last week, right, fighting for SEPTA funding. I encourage each and every one of you to ride SEPTA right now. I think you'll see the improvements that have been happening with the SEPTA system with these new fare gates. But realistically, it's a partisan issue, and
I don't see no improvements with SEPTA. All right. I really don't see the improvements with SEPTA. They're overcrowded. They always late. Shout out to the bus drivers that are, nice as shit. You got some nice bus drivers. But half of them, man, they rude and ignorant, yo. I ain't gonna sit here and lie.
Everybody should be advocating for more SEPTA across the aisle because we need this for Philadelphia in 2026. Thank you.
They just dropped the mic. I'm dead.
Will Amanda Eldridge, Samantha Craven, Charles Hull, Adam Oldman, and David Jenkins please make your way to the podium?
Hola. Where at? I can't see
Morning,
that.
Amanda Eldridge. As a veterinarian, I have seen firsthand the effects of irresponsible backyard breeding. These consequences include poor genetic planning resulting in congenital defects.
Oh, she's the Karen that's trying to shut down the breedings. Oh, you a Karen. You one of the ones that trying to have this law passed, huh?
A complete lack of veterinary care, significant rise in preventable infectious diseases, and an increase in surrendered animals. The following instances are not hypotheticals or potential outcomes. These are actual events I myself have experienced. These consequences show in the entire litter of 8 puppies brought in with parvovirus and losing their lives because the breeder did not vaccinate the mom, who therefore cannot protect her puppies by passing on the antibodies. This shows in the dog showing up in dystocia, which is having trouble giving birth, who requires an emergency C-section and has had 0 medical oversight. No vaccinations, no genetic or health screenings, no imaging to even know how many puppies are in there, as this all cuts into profit margins.
Well, then you need to start aiming at the people that misuse and abuse dogs, that are out here breeding dogs just, for profit and don't care. But don't aim at the people that are out here and really do care about the animals. See, that's a big difference. And people like to lump everything into one pile. One man is bad. Well, all men are in that pile with that one man. All women are bad. Well, all women are in that pile just because of that one woman. Like, come on, man.
Backyard breeding prioritizes profit over welfare. This is a deliberate and reckless practice. When overbred females are no longer profitable and puppies are no longer selling due to overabundance or illness, or when people who have purchased these animals cannot afford the care they need due to actions or lack thereof of these breeders, these animals are surrendered or worse, abandoned, and Act Philly picks up the pieces. This legislation represents a critical step toward reducing suffering, protecting our community, and giving Act Philly a fighting chance to fulfill its mission responsibly and humanely. So as a Philadelphia...
Act Philly has put down dogs that didn't need to be put down just because someone has said, oh my God, that dog bit me. And that dog was just defending their property. And y'all have sat down and put down dogs cold-heartedly. And you want to say that? What makes you any different from the people that are doing that? Come on, man.
Philadelphia born and raised resident, as a veterinarian, and as an
We
advocate for both animal welfare and public health, I strongly urge you to support this bill. Thank you.
Who's next? Damn, what's going on?
My name is Charlie Hall. I'm speaking on behalf of the American Kennel Club and the responsible dog owners and breeders in Philadelphia.
All right.
We share the same concerns as the Kennel Club.
All right. No more talking about dogs. Let's get to something else. Y'all, the whole thing is going to be about dogs?
Having a state version of the earned income tax. We urge counsel to table, not on paper. Thank you for the opportunity to submit my testimony.
Adam?
Damn, one person clap? That's messed up.
Adam Goldman. Good morning, members of council. My name is Adam Goldman. I'm director of the Philadelphia Unemployment Project. I'm here today to testify in support of Councilmember Landau's resolution commending the PA General Assembly for including the Working Pennsylvanians tax credit in this year's state budget. With more and more Pennsylvanians struggling to make ends meet, having a state version of the earned income tax credit will help hundreds of thousands of residents across the Commonwealth put food on the table. I'd also like to mention that Philadelphia already has a local version of this program, but it's barely used, with less than 5% of eligible residents getting it last year.
There's a lot of programs that a lot of organizations put out there, and it's barely used, but people don't want to hear that. I mean, I talk about it, constantly within this channel, all right? There's a lot of organizations that are really fighting out here constantly trying to bring back the things that we need or trying to, bring something new to the table, bring solutions to the table, but they get, they have to, how can I say, they get pushed to the side.
This is because the process is unnecessarily complicated, requiring residents to first apply and be approved for a separate, more restrictive state tax forgiveness program. It also doesn't allow for a refund of the entire wage tax. With hardworking Pennsylvanians and Philadelphians struggling to get by, every dollar we can put back in their pockets helps. To fix this, we should tie the city wage tax refund to the new Working Pennsylvanians tax credit and work with the state to automate and streamline the process. Until every Philadelphian receives these dollars back who's eligible, we're doing them a huge disservice.
Well, first we have to figure out what's going on with these taxes and stuff, because like I was saying earlier, right, we pay taxes for everything, but yet ain't nothing getting fixed, ain't no solutions on the table, ain't nothing getting resolved. Why are the schools, now 20 schools being taken down? All right, we pay taxes for soda, for food, for clothes, listen, for everything, but yet, like I said, we all know where it's going, right? This is one thing that my baby pops taught me when I first got with him. And it's crazy, in the beginning, I thought he was tripping until I started doing my research, until my son almost ended up in the system, right? All the tax money goes towards these prisons, all right, in war. But when you say stuff like that, people, oh, you tripping, you don't know what you're talking about, you crazy. Nah, man, all you got to do is just go search it up yourself. All right, everything's out there. Y'all love the internet so much. I'm not talking about social media, because y'all love to confuse social media with the internet. And guess what? The internet came out before social media. Social media needs the internet in order for it to exist. Yeah, but social media is a part of the internet, but it's not the internet. So use the internet and, do some research other than just getting on, these social media platforms to gossip, drama, bully, and bash people. And shout out to the ones on here that, that, how can I say, don't come on here for that bullshit. They come to have fun, to learn, all right, and to have conversations that build nations.
This really is a no-brainer. The program is there. Let's just make it work for everyone. Thank you.
Once again, will Samantha Craven please make your way toward the podium?
I mean, if Samantha's taking her sweet time, move on to the next one. She don't want to come up. Everybody laughing.
Madam Chair, members and guests, I rise
That's not
to address
Samantha.
241070 and 241056. It feels...
Is this Samantha? I could have sworn he said Samantha. Hold up.
Madam Chair, members and guests, I rise to address...
Yo, look at these two over here are whispering. They probably saying the same thing I am. Like, where the fuck is yo? I'm sorry. You know what, man? This is me. All right. Like, where in the world is Samantha? You know what, Ray? You might get a strike. Be nice. Be nice. You know what? Let's let the gentleman Samantha speak.
Address 241070 and 241056. It feels silly that I should stand before you this morning as people beyond the hall who have elected the members sat before them in front of the rail to put their best interests to the people before themselves will be looking at such a resolution. When people are losing their jobs at an alarming rate, when we are creating resolutions that amount to job security for politicians with an election year ahead of us, what are we doing? The proposal to remove resign to run rule asks us to weaken one of Philadelphia's clearest ethical guardrails. This rule exists for a reason. It prevents misuse of offices, reduces incumbency advantage, it eliminates divided loyalty between campaigning and governing. It ensures officials cannot use the city staff for public visibility as companion tools. It keeps taxpayer-funded and time focused on taxpayer-funded work. Most importantly, it protects the public trust. We know the argument, other governments allow it. have you watched the news lately? I don't know if you've seen other governments and how they operate. I don't know if you're paying attention, but this dog won't hunt as an argument.
What?
I don't know if the chamber recalls this, but voters in Philadelphia have already spoken. In 2007, in 2014, they rejected eliminating this rule by clear margins. In 2020, the resolution was pulled before it reached the ballot box. That is not ambiguity, friends. That is public will. Good governance is not about legality, it is about perception. The public must trust that the office you occupy is not a campaign infrastructure. Members, now that I have properly put your panties into a bunch, let me offer you a compromise. I would rather pay every city officer who resigns to run a transition, compensation, and greatest thanks for the legislative work, noting that if they lose, they face what every American faces when changing jobs: uncertainty. Public office is not a safety net, it is a public trust. This is not a hard one. Philadelphia has told you no, not once, not twice, not thrice. Don't make them do it again.
Samantha confused me all across the border. I think I know what Samantha was talking about, but Samantha, listen. Are you talking about the cops, the government? I don't know what was supposed to be transitioning, but you confused me. How she get more claps than the other people? My bad,
Hi, I'm Samantha Craven.
Oh, that's
Good afternoon,
Samantha.
Council President and members.
So who the hell was the other person? They asked for Samantha, a man in a wig pops up. They never mentioned his name, and now Samantha pops up. You know what? I'm done. Like, hold up. Was this a whole mix-up there? Is this why people was going crazy in Philadelphia about this meeting, man? Listen, I'm mad I missed this, John. I'm mad. Listen, I love watching these meetings. The committee meetings, the state meetings, all of them. The Senate meetings. Listen, y'all just don't get it. They be funny as shit on this.
Members, my name is Sammy Craven. My main emphasis on Bill 250989 needing to be passed is due to the significant impact it will have on the overcrowding issue at Act Philly. This city's only open intake shelter that has euthanized over 2,000 innocent souls since 2024 to now, simply due to lack of space and time. For the past several years, I have been deeply involved in reducing euthanasia for space at Act Philly, not as a spectator, but as someone actively moving animals towards life outcomes. I've designed and distribute free shareable graphics highlighting Act Philly's timestamp dogs, encourage outreach.
It's not that I don't care about the dogs. I thought Samantha was coming, to talk about something about, our community, but she's talking about the dogs. Like, let's go into certain more important things that we could actually do something about.
Will Jonathan Stein, John McAuley, Lynn Landis, Elaine Petrosian, and Marie Marianakis please make your way to the podium?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jonathan Stein. I'm the former Executive Director of General Counsel at Community Legal Services and a former member of the City Tax Reform Commission in 2000.
He's a member. Was you a lawyer? He's from the Community Legal Aid Services. I don't know. He could have been an assistant, but he looked like a lawyer, right? He didn't specify what he was. He just said a member.
2002, appointed by the City Council President at that time. I'm here to support the resolution of Councilwoman Rulandau's, her resolution on the adoption for the first time in history of the state earned income tax credit, which joins the 50-year-old federal EITC. And I'm here to really pinpoint the fact that this City Council has an extraordinary opportunity to revisit the current city ordinance providing for a wage tax credit or refund. The last time Council addressed that ordinance in 2020 with Councilman Alan Dome and others, a number of people in this hall today, the reforms were adopted unanimously. And every time this bill has come up in the past, it got unanimous support by City Council. And what you have before you is a bill introduced by Councilwoman Kendra Brooks and other co-sponsors in the hall today that would revisit this ordinance, which is simply not working. Fewer than 5% of low-income working people, full-time working people, get this wage tax credit. That is 95% of eligible people in the city don't get it because it's tied to the state special tax forgiveness provision, which has a very low arbitrary eligibility level. And the full wage tax refund is not there because the PICA portion is not allowed. So this bill would address these impediments to this wage tax credit ordinance that we already have.
And I think that would help them help a lot of people, because I know the legal aid committee does help a lot of people. But we can't forget, right? Trump did say it, and I was talking about this in the beginning of the year. He did say he was going to stop, giving funds to a lot of programs, right? And a lot of things. It don't matter what city and state we in. He was going to stop funding certain things, right? And I said it. I said, what's going to happen, right? Especially Philadelphia. We are a blue state, right? Like, what's going to happen when all these programs don't get the funds they need? Right, and I hope they talk about the school situation on here. They're supposed to. That's the whole reason we were reviewing and reacting to this, because I think Ketsi Lasada is supposed to come out on this, John. Right? They're supposed to be talking about what's going to happen in the schools. With the schools, they're talking about closing down 20 schools. All right. So if you're in Philadelphia, right? And it's crazy how they're taking it. The schools they're closing down are within the Black and brown communities, right? And when that happens, it's going to be nothing more than just overcrowded classrooms. It's going to be like the schools in when I went to Youngstown, Ohio. All right, all the grades are together, high school, middle school, elementary, and I don't think that works like that. Listen, when I seen the schools over there like that, I'm like, where is the order? Like overcrowded classrooms, like not even 30 to 35. It's more students in one classroom. It's like I think it's a total of almost 50 students, man. Maybe I might be a little exaggerating, but like once y'all close down these schools, right? Where are y'all going to put over 3,000 students at? Classrooms, the schools already here in North Philadelphia are overcrowded. South Philadelphia, a lot of the schools are overcrowded. So where do y'all plan on putting these kids?
The principle you should keep in mind is that our tax system should not be driving low-income people into deeper poverty. And that's what the regressive wage tax does today. And
Thanks.
I encourage you to revisit this bill, have hearings on it, and adopt its
Your time is
contents.
up.
Thank you very much.
He was speaking facts, though.
You have 2 minutes. Take your name for the record, please.
Why they giving them 2 minutes?
Good morning, everybody. My name is John McAuley. Once again, I'm with a grassroots organization called Flip Philly Red.
I know who
We're
that
here
is.
to bring you something different because you've been voting Democrat for the mayor's office for the past 70 years. If I'm supposed to be excited about a state tax credit for $240, then that's what the average would be. The max would be $805, but the average per person would be $240. I'm supposed to be excited about that. We're supposed to give the General Assembly a pat on the back for this state credit.
Preach.
Stacey Garrity is running for governor. This should be a wash. This should be easy. While you guys continue to get rich, continue to get money, to continue to advance, yes, I'm looking at you. While you continue to advance in your careers, and we should supposed to be happy about a whopping $240. If you want to help us out, then champion eliminating property taxes. That's something that Republicans, Democrats, and independents can all get on board with. While this erratic, crazy governor continues to increase spending by $3.5 billion, we're struggling out here.
Facts. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you see all of Philadelphia coming at, Sherelle Parker, and I see her trying to do her best. All right. It's to the point where I think at certain points y'all got her hiding, but I don't see no pressure towards the governor. None whatsoever.
So I'm supposed to be excited about $240. That's what the average should be. when he continues to spend taxpayer money, millions of dollars on his stupid TikTok videos.
Thank you.
And y'all don't say anything about.
Ooh, finally somebody else is saying it. Fuck the governor. Yo, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get in my Ice Cube bag, but I can't stand that corrupted motherfucker. And people just don't understand. Y'all putting that heat on Sherelle Parker, but this corrupt motherfucker y'all praise like he's a goddamn god. A god where? Y'all so worried about a sky daddy coming from the sky to come save you. Ain't nobody coming to save you. It's like my baby pop said, man, we have to save ourselves.
That I'm supposed to be excited about $240 while the Philadelphia parking authorities made it impossible to park down here in Center City.
Facts.
You got the bike lane mafia down here that's made it impossible to park down here in Center City.
Facts.
You got Comrade Mayor Sherelle Parker, who's implementing her Soviet Union $2 billion home plan that we're going to have to pay back, that our children is going to have to pay back.
Yeah, with that one, I don't like. That's the only thing I don't like about Sherelle Parker's plan. Like the little housing thing that they got going for, Philadelphia. And I questioned it in the beginning, right? And what's crazy is, right, I don't even think that this is her little, idea, but I guess it's on her because she's the mayor, right? But I said it. I said, if this happens, people are going to have to start paying a lot of money back to the city. And for what? Where is it going to go? I mean, we're paying taxes, right? And it's supposed to go towards the schools, right? It's supposed to go towards a lot of things here within our own communities, right? But it's not really showing. The schools are falling apart. They're saying they need this and they need that, right? 22 schools being closed down. 10 buildings are being kept by the school district. 12 buildings the government is keeping. But we already know what's coming, right? And it's crazy because I said it to my baby pops there. I think it was a few weeks back, and he said, no, Philadelphia's not going to do that. Yes, it is. They're trying to make certain parts of Philadelphia, how can I say, smart cities and stuff like that. So, I mean, listen, it's coming. It's happening. Whether we like it or not, a lot is about to change in Philadelphia. And it's crazy how, I mean, this is why I say, I'm like, was it the Trump administration or, was it other people? But how are we going to know who's really doing what? See, red or blue, we fighting for crumbs, right? And then we can't even really see who are the motherfuckers, that are really pulling the strings. We're fighting, how can I say, invisible forces, right? People are out here fighting invisible strings trying to prove their worth. But for what?
Over time. You look at me like I'm crazy, but $800 million in bonds borrowed that the taxpayers will have to pay back. So while I'm supposed to be excited about $240, when you got stupid 25 mile per hour speed limits on Broad Street, I'm supposed to be excited about that. We're not giving pats on the back for that. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Yeah, he was mad. He was mad. Like, he was about to get a little ratchet in there, John.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Landis of SafeStreetsPhilly.org and Philly's Republican Network. I support the resolution to lock up commercial dumpsters. Our local civic association was told by the police that this regulation would hopefully deter the homeless population from using dumpsters to live on the street. However, most of our local homeless people are seriously mentally disabled and or drug addicted and must be ordered by a court into secure facilities in order to receive the care that they require for the safety of both themselves and the public. To that,
well, that's because they're so worried about trying to put safe houses in here, right? Which I think won't help nobody. Right? They said Kensington was supposed to be looking better. They were cleaning Kensington. It's more like zombie land now. For real, for real. These safe houses, what y'all gonna do? Like, listen, it ain't gonna help anything because y'all sitting here providing them with the drugs. Y'all tested it, didn't work out, but now y'all think somehow, some way by putting funds, pouring funds into that safe house here in Philly, knowing it failed in the UK. It failed in other places. I think they tried it here, if I'm not mistaken, in areas like Chicago and stuff like that. It failed. And y'all still want us to try it in Philadelphia with people still opposing to that. That's why I say we know where these funds are going. We're not slow. And I think I gotta do a live, right? We gotta get to this gorilla topic that everybody want me to review and react to. All right, I've been pushing it to get to, because I want to talk about the more important things. All right, listen, living in a house with 10 siblings, all right, air mattresses, cockroaches, and mice and rats, all right, it's something that a lot of us grew up in. All right, some of us still have loved ones that still live in the same type of environment. All right, so we can get to that, at any given time. But this right here, this is something that we could focus on, we could talk about, and try to make a change. Like I said, listen, debating people on YouTube isn't going to help anybody. That's why I don't do it. But sitting here debating these politicians, going head to head with them, now that is a debate worth doing.
To that end, President Trump has signed an executive order to restore mental facilities across America. After decades of failed policies by both Democrats and Republicans that have left the mentally disabled and drug addicted living on our streets. We request that the City Council support President Trump in this endeavor. On a different subject, I and many other Philadelphians support common sense efforts by City Council to direct our waste towards recycling and storage, not incinerators and landfills, both of which are toxic to public health and a waste of valuable resources. In fact, the Solid Waste Disposal Act of 1976 requires that states develop and implement plans to maximize recycling and minimize waste. But that act has been largely ignored by both Democrats and Republicans. In the 1990s, I was very involved in the zero waste movement and helped to develop state legislation to create disposal bans on waste streams. But that bill failed due to the opposition of both Democrats and Republicans. Several decades later, hopefully these laws and efforts will stand a better chance of success with both parties. Please go to my website, zerowasteamerica.org, to learn more. Thank you.
My name is Elaine Petrosian, and I am rising in support of Councilman Young's Bill 250988, which is an zoning overlay in certain parts of the 5th Council District to provide overnight respite and relief to neighbors and commercial corridors from relentless 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week operation of mini marts, in air quotes, that are operating as smoke shops, which in reality are selling oftentimes selling unlicensed and unregulated intoxicating substances. So I rise in support of that bill. I want to say also that as a neighborhood volunteer, neighborhood committee person, and stalwart member of our civic association in the Spring Garden section, adjacent to the North Broad Street corridor, this is a issue that is affecting many, many parts of the city. It will not be solved by diligent and a patchwork of zoning overlays, which is why I also want to say I look forward to, and I thank Kathy Gilmore Richardson for her leadership on holistic approaches to this new threat to our commercial corridors and the hearts of our neighborhoods. I also look forward to this body.
Man, listen, the PPP people, man, the parking, what is it? The parking? No, PPA?
Philadelphia Parking Authority.
All right, the Philadelphia Parking Authority. I don't know why I said PPP. What the fuck?
You're thinking about the loans back in the day.
So I hear a lot of people say PPP. I'm stuck with it. I'm thinking it's that.
No, PPA.
PPA. Listen, them motherfuckers is making money this year. All right, they sitting here. How can I say, finding people, right, that don't own a car just because somebody had, how can I say, reserved the parking for themselves. Like, listen, man, there's been Philadelphia parking wars since the beginning of the year. I mean, it's been like this forever, but 2026 hit, boy, I'm telling you, like, listen, it's been an issue with parking everywhere. And not just that, when you go like to downtown and city hall and stuff like that, right? When you know how they got them little buildings you park your cars in and stuff like that, like she was talking, right? Yo, the prices on that is wild. It's like you running a freaking room. I'm telling you. You might listen, you're better off renting a room than, how can I say, reserving a spot for an hour in them parking places. I'm telling you. These mofos is doing nothing but making money off of our backs. I'm like, oh, like, and it's crazy though. Like, man, they got me chopped. They gave me a few of them fines. It's like, oh, you were obstructing what is it, the road. I said, I'm obstructing what? I can't help if somebody reserves the parking when I'm not home. All right, I don't own a car, so I ain't reserving shit. I don't have to put nothing in front of my house. All right. Now, if it's my parking spot, y'all decide to say, well, this parking is reserved, which y'all should. All right. They said that they didn't have it like this, but listen, I asked them, right? Because I remember when I moved into this block and I was younger, right? Each house where the parking was had their address painted like in yellow. In some blocks, they were white. And I remember that everybody parked their car there, right? And nobody parked in that area because it was, but I'm sitting here, I was like, I don't know, maybe because it was a community back then. But when I started talking to these politicians, they was like, oh, it was never like that. I was like, you're not going to tell me how it was in the community that I grew up in. But now, and I'm sitting here, I was like, so I guess back then people were just getting away with shit, all right? Because now, when you look into the laws and shit, listen, did y'all even know that y'all can't let your 10-year-old walk to the store alone? Because according to the law, right, it's against the law for you to let your child walk to a corner store unsupervised. Right? That is considered child neglect. Right? And there's parents that have fought these laws. And guess what? They've managed to change the policies. I've done lives on that on this channel. So for people to tell me, oh, you ain't gonna make a change, you ain't gonna make a difference, well, guess what? A lot of our ancestors sacrificed themselves, all right? A lot of, how can I say, a lot of the people that y'all look up to, that y'all consider idols, sacrificed themselves to change, there's these policies and stuff like that for us to have, how can I say, better communities. And I understand why certain people say, that, at one point, how can I say, people were happy. I'm not going to say that America was so great, no. Right? But maybe at one point where, when I didn't exist, because there's a lot of our, older, elderly people saying that at one point America was great. But, I wasn't alive to sit here to see it. But one thing I could sit here and say that at one point we did have communities that were communities when I was younger. Right? It's like when they say that it takes a village, right? I was raised by a village. I was protected until I grew up and started coming outside of my village and started seeing how the world really was. And I know that my community wasn't the only community.
Exercising oversight, meaningful oversight of the executive branch of government. And because this body can make the laws, but cannot enforce them. So I look forward to those times, and I want to say thank you to everyone for taking this very seriously.
Will Robert Gray, Jessica Graff, Devin Cairo Rodriguez, Vanessa Raymond Garcia, and Ian Griffin please make your way to the podium?
Hi, my name is Marie Marinakis. I wanted to thank the council members and attendees for the opportunity to speak. I have volunteered at ACT Philly for the past 12 years.
Oh, here we
I'm
go with
here
these
to
dogs
support
again.
the moratorium on puppy.
I'm not against the dogs. Listen, I love dogs. But we're not doing this animal thing right now, okay?
Good afternoon, Philadelphia. I am here today to speak on several issues. There's a lot at stake today.
Excuse me. Please state your name for the record.
I will state my name, which...
Hold on, wait a minute. No. We're not just gonna do this. Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all gonna get smart with him. Why y'all got smart with him? I ain't like that. Hold up. because when the bull with the wig came through, all right, and y'all was calling Samantha, but the bull with the wig came in, all right, with the female suit, all right, and y'all let us think that it was Samantha. Y'all didn't stop him and say, "Can you state your name?" The bull didn't even give his name, but him over here, all right, he just went right in to try to tell you what the issues is. You're gonna say, "Excuse me, can you please state your name?" Oh no, man, y'all gonna do him dirty. Why y'all don't like him? Is it the way he's dressed? Shit, what's the problem? Y'all could have said that to the other bull that we thought was Samantha. Had us confused throughout the whole debate that he was trying to, like, get the fuck out my face.
Which is Robert Gray. And as I was saying, there's a lot at stake today
wild.
in Philadelphia. A lot of our individual freedoms are being infringed upon. And I want to make comments in reference to several bills on the docket today. 251-098, 241-070, 241-056, 250-843, 250-889, and 251-097.
You got a good memory.
So, as I said, my name is Robert Gray, and I'm here today to speak against legislation that, while well-intentioned, only ultimately infringes upon our individual rights, misuses taxpayer resources, and expands bureaucratic power under the guise of social justice. Let me be clear from the outset. We all love our puppies here in the city.
Oh my
Protecting
God.
animals from abuse is a worthy and necessary goal. No reason.
I would love to hear what you're saying, and I just defended your behind, but you're here with the dogs too. All right, I love the dogs, I love the animals, but can we get to the issues within our communities? We know that this bill is going to get passed. All right, but let's get to the real issues of our community. All right, shout out to Robert Gray. All right.
We work directly with ACCT Philly. We also do work with the police and take owner surrenders when we are able to, which is not very often because we're always full. I fully support
Another
Bill
person
250989. As somebody that has a front row seat to the overpopulation crisis in Philadelphia, I think that putting a temporary ban on the selling of puppies is a responsible and common sense approach.
I should have peeped when she said ACT. Come on. Let's get to the real issues. All right. Come on. If another person comes in here about this puppy issue,
Good morning. My name
my
is
God.
Devin Rodriguez Cairo. I work at Hand to Paw, a youth development and animal welfare organization, and previously worked at ACCT Philly. I have seen.
all right, Philadelphia, I see we're taking the animals serious, but right now we want to get to the issues, the schools, what's happening within our communities, right? But y'all want to, oh my God, how many people are here for the puppies?
Ryan Harris, Obona Higgins, James Buck III, and Reverend Dr. Sugarman Kershaw.
I hope the Reverend's not here for the puppies too.
Vanessa Raymond Garcia. Good morning, Council President Johnson and all council members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Sure.
Hey, she went on mute?
My name is Vanessa Raymond Garcia, and I am here to voice support for Bill 250980. I come representing Regional Housing Legal Services as their senior policy analyst. RHLS is a nonprofit legal aid firm working alongside communities in the fight to create and protect safe, affordable homes. We provide legal representation.
All right, so now she's hitting on an important topic. I'm not saying that the animals are not important. All right, I love animals. I'll go out and fight for them. But right now, we need to take care of us in order to take care of these animals. Okay? A lot of people are out here, right? And it's crazy that I've seen so many people, right? Sad, right? Like heartbroken. I'm gonna say their heart torn to pieces because your heart is a muscle. It can't be broken. But it could be torn. But their heart torn into pieces because they had to give up their animal. So it's kind of like, I get it. I had to bury my best friend. Right? She's in the pet cemetery in my backyard. right along with, the two other dogs that passed away within my lifetime. But, it's, boy, I feel as though that these issues, what's going on within our communities, right? The grassroots programs that are helping our youth get out these streets, the schools, all this, those are important issues within our communities.
Representation for groups serving those with low incomes and advocate for policy changes. Some of our current and past Philadelphia clients include New Kensington Affordable Legal Services for. My name is Vanessa Raymond Garcia, and I am here to voice support for Bill 250980. I come representing Regional Housing Legal Services as their senior policy analyst. RHLS is a nonprofit legal aid firm working alongside communities in the fight to create and protect safe, affordable homes. We provide legal representation for groups serving those with low incomes and advocate for policy changes. Some of our current and past Philadelphia clients include New Kensington Community Development Corporation, Habitat for Humanity, and the Philadelphia Community Land Trust. We published a report late last year examining institutional investment in single-family homes, multifamily properties, and manufactured home communities across Pennsylvania. That research documented what many Philadelphians already feel every day. Large-scale absentee and LLC shielded property owners are reshaping our housing market in ways that harm renters, aspiring homeowners, and entire neighborhoods. No property owner, especially those operating from out of state or behind a web of LLCs, should be able to avoid accountability for tenants or to the city. When landlords hide behind anonymous or unverifiable contact information, the people who suffer are the tenants who cannot get repairs, the neighbors who cannot report ongoing safety issues, and the city departments that cannot enforce basic codes. Requiring a verifiable physical.
We'll pause it right there and then rewind it back so we can get right onto that. And I'm glad she said that because it's true. And it's crazy that we got a lot of landlords out here, right, doing their tenants real dirty. I went live one day, right? And those that have, those that have been following me know what live this was, right? And I don't know if y'all remember about the landlord in my block. There was a landlord in this block, right? And he had kicked out his tenant, but she had her receipts and stuff like that. And I think right now they got a current, they're going to court still, all right? But he wasn't supposed to kick her out because he wanted to, sit here and divide the house. That wasn't, how can I say her fault? He should have told her, look, listen, I'm going to rent, I'm going to rent to you for a certain amount of time because my plans are to divide this, run it like this, instead of saying, yo, I'm going to rent you the whole house, right? For this much, boom, 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 boom. And then out of nowhere come and change. I was like, yo, is you like, do you have the lease? Do you have everything? Yeah, go sue his ass. Like, I put his ass on blast. Like, how you gonna kick her out and then try to play her like that? But a lot of landlords, we call them, how can I say, scumlords. Because all they care about is the money. They don't fix nothing up. And it's crazy, right? Because she did hold the rent. But the reason was because she was without water for the longest. Her pipes was fucked up. He was supposed to come fix it. And she said it. I'm not going to pay you this rent until you do this. But good thing she had her paperwork because if not, boy, right now she wouldn't be getting her money back. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people get played by scumlords.
Are the tenants who cannot get repairs, the neighbors who cannot report ongoing safety issues, and the city departments that cannot enforce basic codes. Requiring a verifiable physical address and a designated local agent is a basic expectation of responsible property ownership. If someone profits from Philadelphia's housing market, they must also maintain open lines of communication and meet their legal obligations.
Facts.
Thank you, Councilmember Phillips, for your leadership on this issue, and I urge Council to pass Ordinance 250980.
I mean, hopefully they pass a lot of things, man, because something got to get done with these landlords, right? And a lot of them have taken advantage, since the prices have gone up. It's funny that, a lot of people are coming here to fight this because it's time. Like put a stop to the landlords trying to play people out here within, the urban community. People that are supposed to be living in poverty. Like the rent out here is, listen, it's outrageous. I'm not going to sit here and lie. And the landlords know this shit. And it's fucked up how y'all sit here playing a lot of tenants, right? Knowing that they would have to move out looking for something cheaper or they wouldn't be able to afford it after a couple months. Like, come on, man. Let's be realistic. Like, man, boy, I'm telling you, like, Man, listen, man, you can change the world, you can help the world, but you sure as hell can't change or help mankind.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Ian Griffiths, 40-year resident of Philadelphia and a 10-year volunteer at ACT. ACT came in existence in 2012, and
I listen. I want to get to real resolutions within our communities. All right, I want to see what's going on. They told me that this whole meeting, all right, turned almost into a WWE when it came about the schools, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, how can I say, Black History Month? Like, come on, let's get to the resolutions. What
every
we could do.
single dog that has left ACT
Council. Today, I, Darian Johnson DeVoe, stand before you.
daily for space a month.
I can start. Okay. Greetings, Philadelphia City Council. Today, I, Darian Johnson DeVoe, stand before you 8 months pregnant with immense hope and gratitude. For today, we are here in celebration of something truly special to come. 215 Day of Giving. See, I go hard because my life is dependent on it. Because soon come, I too will have to raise a son in this city. The same city that once raised me, from neighborhood drill teams to community block parties. And like many of those you see behind me, I have always been surrounded by people who have made something out of nothing. And it was because of the work of my neighbors, the surrounding organizations of my community, that I am who I am today. And it's also a testament to exactly why initiatives like 215 Day of Giving must exist, because we exist and our work matters. True to the radical organizing tradition of Black communities, especially here in Philadelphia, where government and businesses fall short, the people step up to meet the need. And with over 3,000 documented nonprofits in our city, but only 81% of funding going to the top 5% of organizations, it says there's work to be done. When 2/3 of the organizations in our city operate on less than 90 days of cash reserves and don't know how they will sustain their programming, it says there's work to be done. When the city of Philadelphia currently stands as the second biggest poorest city in our nation, and 1/3 of families live below the poverty line, it says there's work to be done. So we say thank you to City Council, thank you to Councilmember Thomas for recognizing this day, and to the endless organizations doing the work in our city, including We Golf Now, Hunting Park Coalition, Power Circle Mentors, Hey Mommy Incorporation, Learning Institute of Philadelphia, Positive Youth Outlet, Bosses Give Back, People Philly of Hope, the Epilogues Project, and These Kids Construction. We see you and we invite you to join the celebration. Text 215-DAY to 444-321 or visit 215dayofgiving.com to give and get behind the work of the organizations doing the work in our city every single day. Thank you.
It's crazy, right? Because, going to these meetings, you can accomplish some things, right? And listen, I had this social worker when I was younger, right? And she used to work for LaSalle University, and she used to fight just like this. And it's crazy that, I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's not my first time saying it, and I don't get tired of saying it. She was one of the first people, to inspire me, all right? To teach me, that I had a voice, right? And it's crazy because, listening to her talk, listening to how she would fight for families out here kind of did inspire me. And, listening to her also was one of the reasons why I picked up one of the first poetry books, that I first ever read, and that was Maya Angelou, right? And that inspired me to do a lot. But I didn't really, how can I say, claim my voice until I turned like 25, 26, until I got pregnant with my daughter, until I was older, until, I was, how can I say, I was doing my history. A little before that was when I was really getting deep into my history. That I know history, yeah, because I've always been a history fanatic. But I didn't start really taking it serious until I was like 25, 26 years old. Right, when I really started learning about, our ethnicities, our roots and stuff like that, our culture and much more, where we come from, how did everything start, right? And then even when not so long ago, like 2 years ago, we started diving rabbit holes on this, John. I thought it was something fun to do. Like, hey, let's just, dive down rabbit holes. Let's start connecting the dots. Let's look at videos that people don't want to look at, which, these videos will actually tell us. And people don't look at it because, they're talking bad about the person that I idolize. You see where I'm coming from? Or, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, look, listen, man, we can't keep thinking that the people that they put in front of us, are, the perfect heroes. Because, like, for example, LeConte, right? I forgot her first name, but the first lady to actually, fight for the justice on, on SEPTA. Let me see. I think I have that John here, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go back over here to YouTube. Right? It was the first Rosa Parks, and people be like, "Oh, you tripping? You trying to take the credit away from Rosa Parks?" I was like, "No, how? How? If LeConte was before Rosa Parks, so I'm not trying to take no history away, right?" Let me see. Trying to get the video because I have a video on here. You have to come over here. Hold on. I gotcha. There we go. That's how I'm gonna have to search her up on YouTube. Come on. And it's crazy, right? For people that don't know who LeConte is, right? She was before Rosa Parks. She stood up, right, to sit in front of the bus when the buses were trolleys. Let me put it like that. Let me see. I'm trying to find a short film, not a long one. I guess it's going to be the shortest one right here. Let me see. Right. We got one video right here. We'll get right back to the meeting.
Story tonight.
I know that. I do know we went down the rabbit hole. Right. We went down the rabbit hole and we talked about LeConte. I gotta upload the video, but we were supposed to do a whole new rabbit hole on her so that we could learn a little more about her.
Caroline Rebecca LeCount played a very big part to desegregate Philadelphia's transportation network. Today, SEPTA held a special Black History Month celebration to honor her life. Natasha Brown has this story tonight.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring.
Philadelphia students celebrated Black History Month at SEPTA headquarters in Center City with a program highlighting educator and civil rights activist Carolyn LeCount.
Even though she was born more than a half century prior to Rosa Parks, they are considered by many to be very closely intermingled in the efforts to desegregate public transit.
Streetcars driven by horses in the 1860s were segregated in Philadelphia, but after LeCount staged acts of civil disobedience and challenged the law, it was changed.
In March 1867, it became illegal.
So can we say that LeCount kind of inspired Rosa Parks? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Rosa Parks knew of LeCount, but I think she did. Because she was, she was before her. Like, come on, we know that, people have, and that's why I'm saying, like, we make, how can I say, we put certain people on a pedestal. Why did they push the Rosa Parks story out there so much? You see where I'm coming from? Because it's crazy, because she wasn't the only one. She wasn't. And listen, shout out to Rosa Parks, all right? This is not to bash her, degrade her, or bring her down. What I'm saying is I'm just tired of people putting just one person, right, on a pedestal when it took many of them, all right, to, how can I say, pass policies, pass laws, right, that which are the reason why we're here today, doing the things that we're able to do today. And I'm hoping that I put that in a right way so I don't offend anybody. Because, people, listen, man, when it comes to social media, people's egos get bruised so easily. It's like you have to find the right words so you don't bump heads with nobody.
It was changed.
In March 1867, it became illegal to segregate streetcars throughout Pennsylvania. It has been suggested that Carolyn LeCount was the Rosa Parks of her time. However, since Carolyn came before Rosa, I like to think that Rosa Parks was the Carolyn LeCount of her time.
For the past several years, SEPTA has honored Black History Month while continuing to honor Carolyn LeCount's contributions to a mass transit system that continues to serve the city.
Facts.
It's a history lesson that highlights the legacy of a fearless woman who wouldn't settle for segregation. The former Taney Street was renamed LeCount Street in 2024, a lasting legacy for this Philadelphia trailblazer.
Her work reminds us that transportation is more than just moving people forward. It connects individuals to jobs, education, and opportunity.
That's a fact. Now let's get back to the meeting. So I just wanted to show y'all, who was before Rosa Parks, right? It's like they have people stay stuck on one person, right? They put one person on a pedestal, not realizing that it took a lot of them. And we're about to, we're going to get back to diving down the rabbit holes, all right? We're going to get back to the Philadelphia rabbit hole and, our ancestors, the Bible, and much more. I'm just trying to get a lot done. So little by little, we're going to get all this stuff done. But let's get back to this meeting.
I'm a little nervous to follow up behind that. My name is Emmanuel Manny 215 Clark. I hate to speak on myself in this way because I hate to sound self-aggrandizing, but I believe the mission of 215 Day in the setting is permitted and fit for me to speak in this way. I stand here today as a young man growing up in the city who at the age of 21 years old decided to fill the gap, right? To look at it and say, everybody that I seen give back to the community was 35 and older with a suit on, right? I never seen nobody in their 20s really step up and do this in my community, right?
Facts.
I stand here today 8 years later as a decorated community leader from different facets, from council people like Jamie Gauthier, right? And I have beautiful relationships. I'm going to run through my time mentioning all of you guys. But also as this year's NFL Inspired Change Maker Award winner from the Philadelphia Eagles, and the youngest since the beginning of the award to get that award and that honor. But also I stand here today as an organization currently with no budget, who does the work every day, who have a team of people that works with me that I have to ask them to do stuff for free. And then sometime I gotta bear with them because I can't hire, right?
And I understand exactly where he's coming from, right? Because as a leader of my community, right, it's crazy how a lot of the stuff that, you know, I got to get, like, for example, like the cleaning of the blocks and stuff like that. People don't understand that when I do have extra stuff and stuff like that, it's because it comes out of pocket. It's because I choose to, give. It's not because I get paid. All my work, the majority of my work, right, within this community, we don't get paid for it. We do it for free. And a lot of us don't complain. I hear so many people, they do complain, right? And I'm not mad at them because they have a right to. A lot of people out here are ungrateful, and I don't get tired of saying that. And they don't notice, they don't understand the stuff that we got to go through, right, to pass the things that they need within our communities. Like to get the alleys clean, you have to get, an order signed by a judge. After you get a petition signed by the whole block, and you have to get the whole block to come together, right? You take this petition, you take it to a judge, and boom, the judge signs it, and then you can get these alleys cleaned. You see where I'm coming from? Like, and people don't appreciate that. It takes time. They want everything done like this. And it's crazy, right? Because I've said this before, and I don't get tired of saying it. So many people be like, Ray, yo, you should run for mayor. I'll vote for you. For what? So y'all could, stomp me and step over me like y'all do to Sherelle Parker? I'm good. I can get a lot more work done, putting boots on the ground out here than trying to become mayor, because then I'm stuck. I'm tired. It's crazy as it sounds, right? For the reason why I say that is because there's too many corrupted, people in in politics. We got them everywhere, right? Even within our own, communities, even within our own organizations. Why y'all think Malcolm, listen, we talk so much shit about the white people, but we don't even realize Malcolm made it up to where he made it to, right? But it was one of his own that ended up, turning on him, and boom, everything came down. Right? And it's crazy that if y'all really pay attention, all people got from Malcolm is by any means necessary. But throughout the messages, throughout the tours, right? If y'all paid attention to what he said, he told us what it is that we need to actually accomplish, right? He left us a little blueprint, but the division is so real that by the time that war is over, right, and the debris is out our eyes, we still won't be able to see, right? The unity is needed. Ownership is needed. A lot of stuff is needed in order for us to, but we too divided. We can't even trust our own neighbor. We've talked about this before. I mean, I can go deeper and deeper, and I can, peel back the layers, of everything I'm trying to say. But it's like, for what? I'm going to be on here longer. I'm already probably like 2-3 hours into this, John. I don't even know how long. Yeah, we're about to hit the 3-hour mark. All right. I know that in the beginning, we had some people in here. Right. But once it started getting a little more serious, we started, talking about the schools and stuff. He was like, fuck it. All right. Ain't no drama in this channel. Ain't none of that happening. So fuck what she's saying. It don't even matter because it ain't going to make a difference. All right. Like I was saying earlier, I had a troll over here. Oh my God, the world is going to end. No, man, the world is still going to be here. Mankind going to probably end, but the world going to be here. All right. Now, what you should be worrying about is, damn, if the grade goes down, how can I prepare myself? What should I learn? What should I pass down to the seed that I have planted in this world in order for it to blossom? Right? Like, but hey, instead people panic and stuff like that when shit happens. But when we don't have this social media and we don't have internet and we're not able to, have gas running in the house and none of that stuff, what is we going to do? Oh, the movies have told us what we're going to do. It has showed us. Some of us are going to be able to thrive while others, whoa.
This is what we represent. So when y'all see me on the Instagram promoting and for 2 and 5 day giving, know that I represent all of these organizations that need this funding to be distributed to them in a proper manner. Thank you for your support.
How y'all doing today? My name is Ryan Harris. I'm the founder and CEO of nonprofit organization As I Plant the Seed. And I think I can speak on behalf of what we got going on today for the 215 Day of Giving. because if y'all do not know, I'm the one that was standing on Broad Street that people was calling crazy. I stood outside for 2.5 days and fasting and praying until we raised $30,000 to get our own building in our community center that we offer 13 free programs without no funding. We've been doing that for 13 years and able to provide resources and a safe hub for the community around us and beyond. So today is a very, very big deal. And we able, and we are able to, meet the needs of the people that we serve today with this resolution. Open that for me. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we were able to meet the needs with this resolution. So thank you, City Council Isaiah Thomas. We appreciate you for presenting this resolution. This resolution supports a model rooted in stewardship and governance. We are committed to transparency, lawful distribution, and capacity building so that no organization that is behind us remains dependent, but instead grows stronger through structured support. So we appreciate y'all for getting back behind this behind this resolution and being able to support us in a major way, because the smaller nonprofits is putting a lot of work on the ground. And a lot of times we get unnoticed. A lot of times we get overlooked when it comes to funding, but we able to steward and be able to be good stewards over the funding that we are able to get. And now we are building that capacity within the organizations that's with us. So we appreciate y'all.
Some facts right there, yo.
Will Obona Higgins, James Buck III, Reverend Dr. Susanna Kershaw, Reverend Michael Major, please make your way to the podium.
My name is Obona Higgins. I'm a 4th-generation chattel slavery survivor. Today I rise regarding Resolution 241070. This is not a technical adjustment. This is a constitutional issue. Resolution 241070 creates 2 unequal classes of elected officials in Philadelphia. Class A, city council members would be permitted to run for another office without resigning. They could retain their seats if they lose. They gain a structural political advantage. Class B, every other elected official in this city must resign to run. They cannot return to their seat if they lose. They remain bound by the charter's accountability requirements. That is a clear intra-government classification.
And that's not a bad idea, because what people don't realize is when we don't, vote locally, right? The same people keep running for office, and they run for years and years and years and years and years. And then, nothing changes. So what he is proposing is not a bad idea if you really pay attention and listen closely to what he's saying.
That is a clear intra-government classification. Under the Equal Protection Clause, classifications must at minimum satisfy rational basis review. But when legislation grants a political privilege to the very officials voting on it, courts examine it more carefully because it raises concerns about self-dealing, incumbent enrichment, voter dilution, and reduced public accountability. Even under rational basis review, self-protection is not a legitimate governmental interest. If resign to run is truly unfair, then fix it for all elected officials. Do not carve out a special exception for yourselves. Equal protection is not selective, it is universal. Resolution 241070 fails that principle. Obona Higgins, over and out.
Oh, that whole crew is done. Nope, one more. Oh, no, it seems like there's a few more.
Councilman Isaiah Thomas.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to thank everybody who provided public comment on resign to run. First and foremost, we're not running that bill today, so I just want to make sure that that's clear.
Wow.
And secondly, just so that the listening public understands, resign to run as amended out of committee.
But if y'all had them come here, why would you not run the bill? Why wouldn't you ask? You know what? See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, why wouldn't you put the bill out there to be proposed? That don't make
but
sense.
understands resign to run as amended out of committee does not only apply to city council. It applies to every city elected official, not just legislators, but row officers as well too. Every city elected official besides the mayor. So I just want to provide clarity, not just for the people who are in chambers today, but the people who are listening online. And I also want to thank members of the public for commenting on the bill because it shows that people are paying attention.
I mean, yeah, the bill is a good proposal. So why wouldn't you even put it out there? So what was the whole point of him coming? You knew he was coming, and you were the one that was supposed to, how can I say, put it out there so they could, Lord have mercy.
To the work that's being done. So thank you, Council President. Thank you, colleagues. And sorry to interrupt, Council President.
Hello, my name is James Buck III, and I greet you in the name of the one who was, the one who is, and the one who is surely to come, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I go to school here in Philadelphia, St. Joe's Prep, and I am a senior, and I have recently fully committed to Penn State University. I will go. I will go there and I will earn my major in business, and for the rest of my life.
I'm gonna pause it right here because I got something to do, but we're gonna pick up on this, all right? Whether it's at 3 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, y'all know it's the weekend, all right? And if I can't go to sleep, I'm definitely gonna pick up back on this, all right? But we're gonna pause it right here and we're gonna pick right up on this, all right? This needs to be talked about, all right? Listen, I'm not, just bringing this up to review and react to it, all right? I'm bringing it up because I want y'all to know, right? This is what I have to do when it comes to the school petition, right? If y'all hit exclamation school petition down in the chat, right? And you are on the vertical, right? Not the horizontal, my bad, not the vertical, right? Live of this, on my channel. There's 2 lives running right now. That's the way StreamYard does it, right? But you got to go to the horizontal one, right? And click on the link to the petitions, right? And sign that, John. But when I get enough signatures on that petition, we can go to town hall and we can actually, debate it just like everybody else is doing. We can get a policy change. We can get laws passed. We can get all these things done, right? But a shorty needs more support. And like I said, the whole purpose of this live, right, of these lives like this, us reviewing and reacting to, what they do, in these meetings is to show y'all, right, that us, right, the leaders of our communities, this is how we get things done, how we accomplish them. Don't think that just the mayors, the senators, and the governors are out here doing what they do. But you got organizations out here that are constantly fighting, right? Because we know that there's people out there like the Me Too movement, other movements out there that turned out to be fake. We know there is, right? And it messed it up. That messed it up for a lot of people that are out here actually really fighting, actually putting out their pockets. They're not really demanding for cash, right? What they do is they'll go out here, right? And they don't run GoFundMes, right? What they do is fundraisers and stuff like that, right? They sell food, they sell clothes, right? They do different types of things, right, to raise the money to do the things that they got to do, right? Besides getting funds, from the state, from the government. So, like I said, all right, there's lots of ways for us to accomplish the things that we're trying to accomplish. The thing that the only issue that we have is how divided we are, all right. And once we figure out how to come together, right, and not let nobody infiltrate what we have, put together, what we have created, then, we can start really making a change. We can start really, making a difference. When we start figuring out how we could, help the people with mental health and stuff like that, then we could start trying to make a change when it comes to the crimes and all that, right? And then start really changing, that system that is so flawed, that system that's so outdated that, because it's not broken. It's doing exactly what it's meant to do. We're under a system that was meant to be running in the 16 and 1700s. All right, we're not in that era no more. All right, and we need to remember, right? We the people, the citizens, is the government. All right, we put these people into these electoral chairs, right? Which end up putting, the president in office. People think, oh, our votes, man, our votes really don't matter when it comes to the president. But when it comes local, our votes matter a lot. All right, and that's all I wanted to say, man. And until next time. This y'all shorty Rachel. and I'm out. All right. Hopefully on part 2 in the morning, we can get some more people, right? And we can have, more of a conversation on this topic. But hey, I'm out, and I'll see you on my next live. Let me see.